Chapter 5290. Lin Xian was beating up the quasi-emperor. Outside, Yan Ruyu and the others were extremely nervous. The others were even more bewildered. Was Lin Wudi dead? In their opinion, it was very likely. At the same time, a figure appeared in another place, where the jade platform was located. That figure was dressed in cloth clothes. His face was calm, but his eyes were deep. It was Yao Guang. He looked at the ancient coffin in front of him and laughed excitedly. That's great, I've really found it. The corpse buried here must be extraordinary. It is very likely to be an ancient super mighty. If I devour it, my strength will increase exponentially. At that time, Hun Tian Lin Wudi, none of you will be my match. I am the strongest young supreme being. Yao Guang was overjoyed and walked towards the jade platform. During this time, he felt a huge pressure. The immortal king's phantom. He used the Yi family's and Gu family's secret techniques. His spatial divine ability was constantly changing. Sometimes he would turn into a heavenly rock, and sometimes the power of the 5 elements would condense around him. These were all powerhouses that he had devoured. He could use the power of these people. Finally, he reached the top of the jade platform. Looking at the ancient coffin, he stretched out his hands. Open! With an angry roar, he pushed its power with all his might. The immortal king's phantom seemed to have fused with him, but the ancient coffin did not move at all. Damn it! Yao Guang's expression was ugly. How could he give up at this point? He took out a few weapons and placed them in different places of the ancient coffin. These were all sacred artifacts. Break! Yao Guang roared angrily, and used his void divine ability to escape. However, the sacred artifacts cracked, and a destructive power swept through the entire cave abode. The sky shook and the earth shook. Yao Guang tore open the void and returned. His face was a little dark, because he found that the ancient coffin below still did not move at all. Could it not be broken? He gritted his teeth and could only use other powers. He bit his finger and drew a few blood-colored runes and imprinted them on the ancient coffin. In the next moment, he formed a seal with his palm and used an ancient divine ability. It was a purple mansion's secret technique. A blood-colored vortex formed above, and then a white bone hand stretched out from it. Holding a divine hammer in his hand, he smashed it down fiercely. Sky-breaking hammer. Yao Guang's blood mysteriously disappeared. The ancient coffin shook gently and opened with a crack. A trace of aura emerged from inside. With a boom, the heaven-breaking hammer shattered into pieces and disappeared. Yao Guang was also sent flying by this force and spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Cracks appeared on his body. This was great. It was not the corpse of a saint's body. This was definitely the corpse of a quasi-emperor. If he had swallowed a quasi-emperor. From now on, who in the world would be his opponent? He was so excited that he was. At the same time, the aura swept out in all directions. The others all sensed it. Heavens, what aura was this aura? They were so scared that they crawled on the ground. A emperor. It's Guang. Was. They all prepared to leave. Murong Qingqing, Yan Ruyu, and the others' expressions changed as well. What was happening now? Sword World. Inside the sky-swallowing jar, Lin Xian was beating up the emperor. At the same time, he was using a formation to record the situation here. The quasi-emperor flew into a rage, hovering between life and death. He had never been so aggrieved as he was today. But suddenly he was stunned. He roared at the sky. Who opened the ancient coffin? Heaven is helping me. Brat, just you wait. He laughed as if he had grabbed a life-saving straw in the sea of death. He thought that the one who had the most hope of opening the ancient coffin was Lin Xian, but it was this brat in front of him. Where did he think of it? Not. When he left, someone opened the ancient coffin. No matter who it was, they had helped him fulfill his greatest wish. What? Lin Xian's pupils constricted. The ancient coffin was opened? Impossible. Don't try to lie to me. However, the mysterious person did not care at all. He roared angrily, and his body pushed back the dragon sword spirit. With a full force attack, he sent the sky-swallowing jar flying. He rushed out. Lin Xian was pushed back by him, and the sword world opened once again. A figure flew out, and then flew into the distance. He disappeared. Lin Xian's blood boiled. And when he felt that power, his face became extremely ugly. Brother Xian, how is it? Morong Qingqing and the others were nervous. Lin Xian said, I am fine, but something bad happened. Someone opened the ancient coffin. Young Master Lin, what is inside the ancient coffin? Purple Star was also surprised. Was it very powerful? Was it an important magic treasure? Lin Xian shook his head. It was a corpse, the corpse of a quasi-emperor. It was the figure from before. What? They were all shocked when they heard this. To be honest, they did not know about this before. It was just a guess. Who would have thought that it would be the corpse of a quasi-emperor, as well as the remnant soul of a quasi-emperor? With the fusion of the two, would the quasi-emperor revive? That guy was obviously an enemy. Once he revived, he would target them. They were in danger. Let's go. Morong Qingqing and the others were nervous. Lin Xian also nodded. It seemed that this was the only way. They had to end their trip to the celestial land early. They soared into the air and flew outside. On the jade platform, Yao Guang walked forward again. He used the heaven-devouring demonic technique, wanting to devour the quasi-emperor's corpse. However, in the next moment he was sent flying again because a mysterious figure had arrived in front of him. Looking at the ancient coffin, he laughed loudly. Ha 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 ha, the heavens are helping me. In the next moment, the mysterious figure flew directly into the ancient coffin. Then an earth-shattering power erupted. Yao Guang's face became ugly. He tore open the void and escaped. However, half of his body still turned into a bloody mist. The others were the same. They were all vomiting blood from this power. At this moment, even the sacred master knelt down. There was nothing they could do. This power was too strong, so strong that it was difficult for them to resist. Kuan Pengzi was shocked, and the fire Qilin's pupils shrank. Not good. This is a power that surpasses a saint. An emperor-level power has appeared? It's too unbelievable. Initially, Lin Xian and the others had wanted to run away. However, when they felt this surge of power, they were sent stumbling backward as their blood boiled. No, it's fused. Quickly return to the stone gate. They instantly turned back. There was no choice. If the quasi-emperor really revived, they wouldn't be able to escape at all. Now only the other type of quasi-emperor's corpse could protect them. This power was still rising. It was obvious that the fusion of the two was becoming more and more perfect. At this moment, not only the entire Origin Magnet Cave Mansion, but also the entire deity land was alarmed. One figure after another looked up at the sky and prostrated on the ground. Oh heavens, what kind of power is this? A peerless expert was about to appear. Not only was it the power of the deity land, but it also rushed out. It flew towards the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty. In the Yuhua Ancient City, the experts were still waiting. They were discussing. They wondered how many people would have their own opportunities in this trip to the deity land. However, at this moment, a shocking power flew out from inside. It sent them flying. These elders also spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Some of them cried out in alarm. Who was attacking them? No, it came from the deity land. This was the power of a quasi-emperor. Chapter 5291. They were really too shocked. What did the appearance of a quasi-emperor mean? Did someone become a quasi-emperor? Or did some dead quasi-emperors in the Yuhua Immortal Land revive? No matter which one it was an earth-shattering matter. They couldn't imagine what exactly happened in the immortal ground. Quickly inform our hall masters. These elders quickly reported. The hall masters of the various immortal platforms were also shocked when they heard about it. Damn it, quickly think of a way to open the Yuhua gate. They must go in and figure out the situation. If the dead quasi-emperors in the ancestral land were revived, then they were from the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty. If the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty had a quasi-emperor, they would definitely be able to create glory again. In the immortal ground, countless people were shocked and terrified. On the jade platform in the ancient coffin, a figure stood up. This was a man. He was mighty and extraordinary, and his body was surrounded by powerful laws and power. A single look from him could destroy the world. With a gentle wave of his palm, countless worlds would be reduced to ashes. He was a quasi-emperor. I'm out. Ha 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 ha. This quasi-emperor laughed loudly. In the next moment, an extremely terrifying killing intent erupted from his eyes. Little thing, you actually dared to torture me before. I will make you suffer a fate worse than death. At the thought of Lin Xian, he gritted his teeth. This time, let's see how the other party will die. Taking a step forward, his figure disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already in front of the stone door. Kid, have you already thought about how you want to die? Seeing Lin Xian and the others inside the stone door, the quasi-emperor's lips curled up into a smile. The other powerhouses in the distance originally wanted to come to the stone door, to see if it was the kind of corpse that could be revived. However, before they could reach it, they saw a figure descend from the sky. Heavens, who is this person? It's not the quasi-emperor in the stone door, but another kind of quasi-emperor. Heavens, this is too unbelievable. They were terrified and didn't dare to approach at all. They could only watch from afar. Inside the stone door, Zi Xingyue and the others' expressions became incomparably desperate. Morong Qingqing and Yen Ruyu also had solemn expressions. This was a peerless enemy. A quasi-emperor was unimaginably terrifying. Back then, when Wine Lord came out, he scared away the Thousand Dragons dynasty with just a few words. Now they were standing in front of a quasi-emperor. Would they be able to withstand it? Lin Xian's expression also became abnormally ugly. He had really been revived by the other party. Damn it, who is it? Who opened the coffin? The quasi-emperor in front laughed coldly. Why? Do you think you can avoid danger by hiding behind the stone door? What a joke. A mere magnetism quasi-emperor's corpse can't do anything to me. Today, I will let you know the consequences of offending me. As he said that, he extended his hand and grabbed forward. As the sky fell and the earth cracked, the stone door also shook unceasingly. From the looks of it, the other party was no longer afraid of the corpse behind the stone door. Lin Xian also roared. He instantly took out the great dragon sword spirit and exerted all of his strength. He killed his way out. The sword shook the heavens like a dancing dragon. The two collided, and Lin Xian was sent flying. Countless cracks appeared on his body as he spat out large mouthfuls of blood. He was severely injured. Older brother Xian, Morong Qingqing and Yen Ruyu's expressions also changed. Was the gap that big? Was this the power of a quasi-emperor? It was too shocking. One had to know that Lin Xian was using the great dragon sword spirit, an invincible power. It's useless, kid. So what if you have the great dragon sword spirit? The gap between our cultivation is too big, so big that you can't make up for it. An extremely terrifying light burst out from his eyes. And then he pointed out with a finger. Lin Xian's body shattered into pieces, and then his eyes were covered with an extremely terrifying light. It enveloped Lin Xian's body. Damn it. Block it for me. Lin Xian roared and used the Rinnegan with all his strength. Immediately, the power of reincarnation flew out, forming 6 worlds that kept spinning to resist. With a boom, Lin Xian spat out blood again and was sent flying. The quasi-emperor was also surprised. You have the Rinnegan too. It seems that I really can't bear to kill you. The 9-yang constitution, the Rinnegan, the great dragon sword, and the heaven-devouring jar are all treasures. I will take your Rinnegan first, then take the great dragon sword and the heaven-devouring jar. In this world, who can contend against me? The quasi-emperor laughed out loud. He was very happy that he could obtain so many treasures as soon as he was resurrected. How could he not be happy? Lin Xian's face was cold. He was in great danger. The strength of a quasi-emperor was too terrifying, and it was difficult for him to resist. Even if he took out the heaven-devouring jar again, he would not be a match for the quasi-emperor. If he brought the quasi-emperor into the sword world, he felt that the sword world might not be able to suppress the quasi-emperor. Then, only the corpse of this quasi-emperor could be used by Lin Xian. Thinking of this, he gritted his teeth. In the distance, the people watching the battle were also shocked when they saw this scene. Heavens, is that Lin Wudi? He was actually unable to fight back against a quasi-emperor. He was dead for sure. That's for sure. Unfortunately, he has so many treasures on him that we can't get them. You still want to snatch treasures from a quasi-emperor? Do you want to die? He can kill all of us with just one look. Countless people were terrified. In the crowd, Kurenpungzi looked at this scene and sighed. The Fire Qilin sneered. Is he dead? That's good. I don't have to do it myself. Brat, leave behind your last words. The Quasi-Emperor in front said coldly. The light of reincarnation in Lin Xian's eyes suddenly erupted. He shouted angrily, Senior has offended him. His soul suddenly rushed towards the Quasi-Emperor's corpse. At the same time, he waved his hand and brought Murong Qingqing and the others into the sword world, including his main body. In the next moment, everyone noticed a shocking flash of light. Then Lin Xian and the others disappeared. What was going on? Did that brat use his spatial ability to escape? Some people were surprised. However, there were also people who shook their heads. No matter what kind of spatial ability he had, even if it was the top genius of the Gu family, Gu Feng, he still couldn't escape. There was no escape here either. The power of a quasi-emperor was above everything else. Ninth Firmament Quasi-Emperor's face turned cold. He naturally knew that the other party was not escaping through the void. It was just that the auras of these people suddenly disappeared, which really surprised him. It seemed that this brat still had treasures that he did not know about. In the next moment he frowned. He could feel that Lin Xian's soul had entered the body of the Quasi-Emperor magnetism in front of him. You want to use this Quasi-Emperor's corpse? You can't do it. He sneered and attacked the corpse of the Quasi-Emperor magnetism with his palm. Get out here. Lin Xian's soul entered the body of the Quasi-Emperor. He felt a wave of fear. The Quasi-Emperor's body contained too much power. It made his scalp tingle. He roared angrily and opened his Rinnegan. In the sky of the sword world, a Rinnegan eye appeared. Give me strength. With a roar, the Rinnegan formed a world and absorbed the power of the sword world. Then it merged into Lin Xian's soul. Lin Xian's soul received the support of power, and his eyes shone brightly. Chapter 5292. The corpse of the magnetite Quasi-Emperor stood up. Heaven and earth shook, and cracks appeared in the stone house. Nine Firmament's Quasi-Emperor was stunned. His palm stopped in midair. Her eyes widened in disbelief. You can actually control the corpse of the Quasi-Emperor. She was really shocked. But soon, she snorted coldly. With your soul power, you can only make this corpse stand up. Watch me drag your soul out of you. He snorted coldly, and his palm rushed forward again. Everywhere it passed, heaven and earth collapsed. The sacred lords in the distance all retreated frantically. Oh no, what did they see? Lin Wudi and the others disappeared. Then, the corpse of the other Quasi-Emperor stood up. These two Quasi-Emperors were going to fight, right? Then they couldn't resist at all and fled. After Lin Xian's soul obtained power, he controlled this corpse through the Rinnegan. He didn't dare to be careless. Facing the other party's attack, Lin Xian also punched out. Boom. This punch was extremely terrifying, and it instantly pierced through heaven and earth. Lin Xian jumped in fright. Even his soul was shaken. He couldn't help it. He didn't understand the power of a Quasi-Emperor at all, so this punch was beyond his expectations. The power he used was too great. Heaven and earth were shattered. Everyone was shocked. Even Nine Firmament's Quasi-Emperor was forced back. He roared, and the 9 heavens and 10 earths were shattered. Kid, go to hell. He rushed over crazily. Lin Xian was also shocked. He stomped his foot and dodged to the side. However, in the next moment he crashed into the void. He couldn't help it. He still couldn't perfectly control this corpse. So he was too fast. However, his body was like the strongest treasure body. There was no damage at all. And the entire cave was torn apart by him. He came outside. Want to escape? You can't escape. How long can your soul last? And I'm the real resurrection. I'm the strongest. I want you to die. Nine Firmament's Quasi-Emperor roared, and then she also rushed over. Nine Firmament's palm. With one palm, it was as if the 9 heavens had fallen. This power was really terrifying. The celestial land was about to be pierced through. Lin Xian did not dare to be the slightest bit careless. Moreover, he could not display any boundary emperor magical ability. He could only rely on the physique of this body to fight against it. Therefore, in an instant he was suppressed and was at a disadvantage. However, he had the physique of a quasi-emperor after all, so it was impossible for the other party to suppress him. Damn it. Nine Firmaments gnashed his teeth in anger. Once again, he condensed the 9 heavens and charged over. Lin Xian was also furious. He used the devil god seal and formed a seal with his palms. It was as if there was a mysterious power within the palm strike. In an instant, it pierced through the 9 heavens. Quasi-Emperor Jiu Shao was also sent flying, his body swaying. He was infuriated. This was a great emperor's divine ability. It seemed like this brat cultivated the great emperor's ancient scriptures. He wanted the other party to cooperate with Quasi-Emperor Jiu's corpse. That power was probably extremely strong. Damn it, impossible. How could his soul force be so powerful? Even if the other party had the Rinnegan and could control the corpse of a quasi-emperor, he could only use 3 moves at most. After all, the energy consumed by the corpse of a quasi-emperor was shocking. How could a small saint control it for so long? He did not know that Lin Xian was not only a small saint, but also had the sword world. And all these years he had collected a vast amount of power in the sword world. That was the power of dozens of worlds. How terrifying. Of course, this power was not infinite. Lin Xian knew that he could not use it for too long. If this continued, defeat was only a matter of time. He might not even be able to control the corpse of this quasi-emperor. What should he do? Lin Xian's eyes flickered. The Rinnegan began to spin nonstop. Escape? This quasi-emperor could indeed escape from the immortal land. But so what if he escaped? He still had no way to suppress the other party. In that case, he could only return to this cave. Since the ancient coffin was separated from the remnant soul from before, it meant that this person had been suppressed before. As for why he was suppressed, Lin Xian did not know. There should be a formation mechanism. Maybe he could activate the formation mechanism again and suppress the other party? Thinking of this, Lin Xian felt that it was an opportunity. Suddenly at this time he was stunned. He saw that the longevity lamp inside the stone door flew up. Lin Xian's heart stirred, and he grabbed the longevity lamp in his hand. The divine fire on it pulsed, pointing in a direction. Lin Xian rushed out in that direction. His speed was extremely fast. In an instant he returned to the Origin Magnetic Cave Mansion. No matter where you run to, even to the ends of the earth or the universe, I will be able to find you. 9th Firmament Quasi-Emperor sneered, his figure flashed, and he also rushed back. Inside the Origin Magnetic Cave Mansion, everyone breathed a sigh of relief, because they felt that the power of the 2 quasi-emperors had disappeared. However, the next moment, they knelt on the ground again in fear. The power of the 2 quasi-emperors appeared again, and it was getting closer and closer to them. They crawled on the ground, not daring to resist. Lin Xian controlled his speed very quickly, and it did not take long for him to arrive near the jade platform. 9th Firmament Quasi-Emperor also came. He looked at this scene and sneered. What? Could it be that you're thinking of sealing me again? You think you can? Haha, you don't have that ability. Well, let's end it here today. 9th Firmament Quasi-Emperor's face became extremely cold. The illusion of the 9 heavens appeared on his body. Obviously, he did not intend to hold back again. Go to hell. 9th Firmament shook the sky. A terrifying power was about to erupt. Lin Xian's face was cold. Suddenly, the divine fire on the longevity lamp in his hand pulsed, and it scattered in all directions. It pierced through the void. At the same time, 8 vortexes appeared. The next moment, a hazy figure appeared on the jade platform. This figure was even more terrifying. The moment it appeared, the 9 heavens and 10 lands bowed down. The sacred lords and princes were all terrified. The corpse that Lin Xian was controlling also could not help but shake. No way? What is this? Could it be? He thought of a possibility. 9th Firmament Quasi-Emperor originally wanted to use a peerless great ability. However, when he saw the figure, he screamed in fright. Sakura. Impossible. How could you still appear? He was crazy, really crazy. Martial Emperor Yuanxi's corpse knelt on the ground with one knee. At the same time, a voice sounded between heaven and earth. Martial Emperor Yuanxi greets the Celestial Emperor. Celestial Emperor. The sacred lords in the distance were also shocked. Some people's pupils shrank and they exclaimed. Could it be that this was the Celestial Emperor of the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty, Sakura? Heavens, this was a great emperor. Moreover, He was an extremely terrifying great emperor. Back then, it was he who wanted to make the entire Yuhua immortal dynasty ascend to immortality. It was easy to imagine what kind of boldness and methods this person possessed. Chapter 5293. The ninth firmament quasi-emperor turned around and fled. It was as if a mouse had met a cat. He was so powerful and arrogant before, but now he did not even have the courage to fight back. Lin Xian was stunned when he saw this scene. The next moment he became excited. There seemed to be hope. Standing on the jade platform, the phantom of the Sakura waved his hand. Suddenly, a scroll fell from the sky and swept in all directions. He stared at the ninth firmament quasi-emperor and sneered. Prometha, with just you? How dare you behave so atrociously? Immortal bestowment platform seal. The scroll shone brightly and the entire jade platform kept shaking as it swept out. The ninth firmament quasi-emperor was instantly enveloped. No. His expression was ferocious and his eyes were red as he let out a miserable roar. I don't want to. He was really crazy. He had just broken the seal and regained his freedom. It had not even been a day and he was going to be sealed again? He did not want to live in such darkness. He wanted to escape. An extremely terrifying light burst out from his body as he attacked with all his might. However, it was useless. The power of the immortal bestowment platform was really too terrifying. The ninth firmament quasi-emperor was instantly sealed. His body landed on the ancient coffin above. With a boom he entered the ancient coffin. However, during this process, a small ray of light flew out from the ancient coffin and disappeared. This process was very short and disappeared in the blink of an eye. In the next moment, the ancient coffin closed and was sealed again. Buzz. The mysterious scroll disappeared, and the phantom of the Sakura also slowly disappeared. The immortal bestowment platform returned to normal. Everything that happened before was like a dream. However, everyone realized that the ninth firmament quasi-emperor had disappeared again. He had been sealed. In all directions, the divine fire returned to the longevity lamp and kept jumping. Lin Xian looked at this scene, and was also shocked. Was this the power of a great emperor? His methods were too terrifying. Although it was just a phantom, he could easily seal a quasi-emperor. Had such a terrifying expert really fallen? Lin Xian did not know. He felt that everything was a mystery. Perhaps only when he entered the Emperor realm could he find out these secrets. Lin Xian controlled the corpse of the magnetism quasi-emperor to stand up. He was also surprised to hear a voice coming from the quasi-emperor's corpse. Could it be that this quasi-emperor was not completely dead? He carefully probed, but he couldn't sense any soul aura at all. No matter how he thought about it, the only explanation he could think of was instinct. In other words, the Sakura who appeared earlier was too terrifying, suppressing the myriad worlds by himself. This magnetism quasi-emperor was a subordinate of the other party, and had fought alongside the other party for tens of thousands of years. Therefore, even though he was dead, his corpse still had to be saluted upon seeing him. Thinking of this, Lin Xian also sighed with emotion. The people in the distance were shocked. A quasi-emperor had been sealed. However, there was still another quasi-emperor around. They still didn't dare to be impudent. Lin Xian controlled the boundary emperor's corpse and turned around to walk over. Those people looked as if they were facing a great enemy. After seeing their senior, they kowtowed non-stop. Lin Xian nodded and said, I'm going to give the longevity lamp to Lin Wudi. Do you have any objections? What? Hearing this, the faces of the people in front changed, and the eyes of the sacred masters instantly turned red. The longevity lamp possessed endless secrets. Previously, it was this lamp that summoned Sakura's phantom. How magical! Now he actually wanted to give it to Lin Wudi. For a moment they couldn't believe it. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The quasi-emperor's corpse emitted an extremely terrifying power. What someone wants to resist? Those people were so scared that their scalps went numb. If a quasi-emperor wanted to make a move, he could instantly kill all of them. They hurriedly shook their heads, not daring to. It's good that you know. If anyone dares to have any ideas about the longevity lamp, don't blame me for not letting him off. With that, the magnetism quasi-emperor's corpse flashed and disappeared. In the next moment, he returned to the stone door. Following that, Lin Xian opened the sword world and released Morong Qingqing and the others. Then he kept the quasi-emperor's corpse. His soul fused with his body and he walked out. How is Brother Xian? Was the quasi-emperor chased away? They could no longer sense the other party's aura, so they were very puzzled. Lin Xian said, "That guy was unlucky and was sealed again." Thus, he briefly recounted the events that had transpired earlier. The few of them were shocked when they heard that, especially when they heard that even the phantom of a great emperor had appeared. They were even more shocked. "Sakura!" Yin Ryu also exclaimed. "I've heard that Sakura is the heavenly emperor of the Yuhua immortal dynasty. Even such a person had appeared. That guy deserved to be sealed." At this time, countless people rushed over from afar. Lin Wudi appeared again. They were surprised. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and looked over. Morong Qingqing and the others looked as if they were facing a great enemy. Lin Xian said, "It's fine, they don't dare to make a move." Sure enough, Lin Xian waved his hand and held the longevity lamp in his hand. "Why do you all want to make a move? Aren't you afraid of a quasi-emperor senior making a move?" Damn it, these people gritted their teeth. This brat was too despicable, he was obviously angering them. However, they really didn't dare to make a move. Although they couldn't find that quasi-emperor senior now, everyone knew that he definitely existed. Because he was the mansion master of this cave abode, and also the subordinate of Sakura, it was impossible for him to be sealed. If he appeared again, it would be a disaster for them. Therefore they could only shake their heads, grit their teeth and smile. How would we dare to snatch this longevity lamp? Young Master Lin misunderstood. He was actually still alive and even obtained the longevity lamp. Kuan Pengzi was shocked and at the same time envious. The other party's opportunity was too good. On the other side, Qilinzi gritted her teeth. Damn it, he actually didn't die and even obtained a great opportunity. Damn it. Her expression became colder and colder. Actually, they didn't know that apart from obtaining the longevity lamp, Lin Xian also obtained a corpse. In fact, Lin Xian could even control the corpse. If they knew, these people would probably go crazy with anger. Let's go, the trip to the immortal ground is almost over. It's time for us to go back, Lin Xian said. Morong Qingqing and the others also nodded. Indeed, even a quasi-emperor had come out, who knew what else would happen. Moreover, Lin Xian had obtained the longevity lamp, and was being watched by countless people. It would be dangerous if he took action. Therefore, the group of people discussed and prepared to go back. This time, everyone had obtained a lot of opportunities on the trip to the immortal ground. Firstly, their souls had all improved rapidly, far surpassing before. Secondly, they had also obtained various heavenly treasures. Each of them would make the sacred clans jealous. Therefore, Lin Xian and the others prepared to go back. At the same time, the Immortal Foundation Hall Masters outside also opened the Ascension Gate. Chapter 5294. Where was the Quasi-Emperor? These palace lords rushed in and started searching. Very soon, they discovered the others. These people were shocked. They didn't expect that even the palace lords would come here personally. After greeting the palace lords, some Immortal Foundation geniuses gathered. The palace lords asked, "How is it? We sensed the aura of a quasi-emperor outside. Did a quasi-emperor appear?" The Immortal Foundation geniuses all had strange expressions on their faces. They replied, reporting to the palace lords, "A quasi-emperor did appear." The palace lords were all overjoyed. "This is great, quickly bring us over to take a look. Which quasi-emperor is it exactly? Is it our old ancestor?" These Immortal Foundation geniuses were all from the Yuhua immortal dynasty, and belonged to different powers. If it was their old ancestor, then their Immortal Foundation geniuses would definitely soar. Upon hearing this, the Immortal Foundation geniuses all had strange expressions on their faces. They hesitated for a moment before asking, "I'm afraid we won't be able to meet him." Those palace lords were puzzled, but they soon understood. That's right. What status did a quasi-emperor senior have? He wasn't someone they could meet whenever they wanted to. Tell us where he is. We will go and beg him ourselves. However, the Immortal Foundation geniuses shook their heads. No, palace lords, you misunderstood. The quasi-emperor was sealed. What? These palace lords were all stunned. They didn't dare to believe their ears. What did you say? The quasi-emperor was sealed? What joke was this? A palace lord jumped up and shouted coldly. What nonsense are you guys talking about? Could it be that you guys don't know the strength of a quasi-emperor? We naturally know. But the one who sealed the quasi-emperor was the Heaven Empyrean. The Heaven Empyrean. These palace lords started and drew in a breath of cold air. This name was still a little vague to them. But when they thought of the founder of the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty, they were all stunned. Wasn't the founder of the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty the Heaven Empyrean? Even that old man appeared. What was going on exactly? Quickly tell me clearly. Soon these hall masters heard the whole story, and they were all stunned on the spot. The Magnetism Quasi-Emperor, the Nine Firmament Quasi-Emperor, and the Heaven Empyrean. The Quasi-Emperor who was sealed was the Nine Firmament Quasi-Emperor. They truly didn't know him. He shouldn't be someone from the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty. As for the Magnetism Quasi-Emperor, some people had heard of him. For example, the people from the Origin Magnetic Immortal Foundation jumped out. Where did they want to go? The Quasi-Emperor is our old ancestor. Such a character, if they could invite him back, how could the other Immortal Foundation experts be a match for them? However, when they found out that the Magnetism Quasi-Emperor had also disappeared, they were all stunned. However, they received another message. What did you say? The Magnetism Quasi-Emperor gave the longevity lamp to Lin Wuti? Damn it, that's something that belongs to our Immortal Foundation. The people on the Origin Magnetic Immortal platform gnashed their teeth. Where did that Lin Wuti find him? Take back the longevity lamp that belongs to us. Why should we give him what belongs to our ancestor? These people began to search one after another. The other Immortal Foundation experts also hurriedly returned. Something shocking had happened here, and they had to spread the news so that they could think of a solution together. At the very least, they had to figure out who this Quasi-Emperor Ninth Firmament was. Why was he in the Celestial Land? In an instant everyone returned. When they came out, the news spread. News of the battle between the two boundary emperors, as well as the appearance of the Heavenly Sovereign and Socrateon had spread far and wide. Everyone in Yuhua City was dumbfounded when they heard this. Those Immortal Foundation experts were all going crazy. They really did not expect such a change to happen. One had to know that these were all their ancestors' legendary figures. And in this matter, there was actually a figure of a young man. Naturally, it was Lin Wuti. Damn it, it's this guy again. He actually obtained the legendary longevity lamp. This was an extremely mysterious item of the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty. It must not be obtained by him. In an instant, everyone began to look for Lin Wuti. In the Celestial Land, everyone left one after another. However, there was still a figure who remained in the cave. It was Yao Guang. At this moment, his face was abnormally pale because there was something in his mind that was threatening him. Yao Guang's expression was cold as he resisted with all his might. His soul seemed to have turned into a vortex. Damn it, who the hell are you? Who am I? Little guy, you opened my ancient coffin and you don't know who I am? What? It's you. Yao Guang's expression became incomparably ugly. Impossible, he roared crazily. He was really stunned. Previously, he did open the ancient coffin and found the corpse of a quasi-emperor. But before he could swallow it, the corpse of the quasi-emperor was resurrected. He was blasted out and was seriously injured. When he recovered and was about to return, he saw a shocking scene. The Heavenly Emperor, Sakra, easily sealed the quasi-emperor Jiao Shao. But now, the remnant soul of the quasi-emperor Jiao Shao actually ran out again. And he even found him. Senior, why are you looking for me? If you want to find someone, you should find someone from the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty to take revenge. I'm not from the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty. Little guy, you can open my ancient coffin, which proves that your origin is extraordinary. If I can obtain your body, then even if I'm sealed, I can live in another form. Speaking of this, he wanted to seize Yao Guang's soul. Yao Guang's soul executed the heaven-devouring demonic skill with all his might. You actually cultivated such a forbidden skill. The quasi-emperor Jiao Shao was shocked. His soul erupted with an extremely terrifying light, enveloping Yao Guang. Yao Guang's body swayed, and he kept vomiting blood. But at this time, the pressure in the sky disappeared. The Quasi-Emperor Jiu Shao said, "I didn't expect you to be from the Purple Mansion. Since that's the case, I'll spare your life first. But I have to stay in your mind. You don't have any objections, right?" Yao Guang's face was ugly. She was also shocked. "You didn't kill me because I'm from the Purple Mansion. Could it be that you were also from the Purple Mansion back then?" He was really too shocked. The Quasi-Emperor Jiu Zhao's lips curled up in disdain. "Purple Mansion?" He sneered. "I'm from the other side." The other side. Yao Guang was very unfamiliar with this name. He shook his head. The Quasi-Emperor Jiu Shao said that when you enter the Emperor realm, at least become a Quasi-Emperor, you will be qualified to know this name. Next, you have to help me recover my soul. Don't worry, I will give you benefits. I will let you grow quickly, and even let you control the Purple Mansion is not impossible. Hearing this, Yao Guang's pupils shrank. The Purple Mansion was so terrifying. All his cultivation techniques were from the Purple Mansion. Even the heaven-devouring demonic skill was given to him by the Purple Mansion. Now the other party actually said such words. How could he not be shocked? Although the Purple Mansion is mysterious, I don't put it in my eyes. Moreover, you know too little about the secrets of the Purple Mansion. As long as you cooperate with me obediently, one day I will let you control the Purple Mansion. I will even let you advance a step further and enter the other side. I don't understand what you are saying. Let me ask you one question. Can you increase my strength? Yao Guang asked. The Quasi-Emperor Jiu Shao said, "Yes, I can even let you enter the Quasi-Emperor realm." Chapter 5295. On the other side, Lin Xian also returned. However, they were taken away by the people from the Nebula Immortal platform. "Your Highness, don't worry. We don't have any bad intentions," the people from the Starfall Immortal platform said. Madame Purple Star frowned. "Young Master Lin was invited by our 9-star platform. What do you want?" The people from the Starfall Immortal platform said. "We weren't worried before, but after the news of the Longevity Ascension came out, can your 9-star Immortal platform remain calm?" "I can't be sure." Madame Purple Star's expression changed. "What do you mean?" "Young Master Lin, we don't have any intention of harming you." Lin Xian narrowed his eyes as he looked at Madame Headmaster Zixing. "We went through life and death together. I naturally believe you. However, the longevity lamp is too mysterious. Can you guarantee that no one will covet it?" Madame Purple Star fell silent. She was just a young genius. She couldn't make the decision on the 9-star platform. However, she soon looked at the Starfall Immortal platform. "Can you guarantee that no one will covet the longevity lamp?" "Yes." The Starfall Immortal platform's palace lord personally walked over and greeted His Highness. "I represent the Starfall Immortal platform and fully support His Highness. Let's see who dares to resist." Madame Purple Star was stunned. She didn't expect the Nebula Immortal platform to be completely on Lin Xian's side. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He said, "All right, as long as you don't let me down, I will definitely let you regain your glory in the future." "Your Highness, you are too polite. You are someone who can ascend to the 4th Starfall Immortal platform. You are someone who can even summon the phantom of our ancestors. We naturally have to respect you." "All right, then I won't be polite. What's the situation now?" Lin Xian asked. While he was asking, the other immortal platforms quickly gathered. Someone said, "Have you heard? Lin Wudi obtained the longevity lamp. Damn it, he is an outsider. What right does he have to obtain it?" "That's right. This belongs to the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty. Only people from our immortal platforms have the right to obtain it. Find him and take back the longevity lamp. If he obediently hands it over, then forget it. If he doesn't, I don't care if he is a young paragon. In our Yuhua Immortal Dynasty, even dragons have to bow down to us." The eyes of those at the 9-star Immortal Foundation also flickered when they heard the news. Princess 9-star asked, "Where was young Master Lin?" "Ask them to come back." As for whether or not he would attack when he returned, he did not say. However, there was a trace of coldness in his eyes. For a moment, undercurrents were surging. On this day an expert came early. A few silhouettes descended, each with a 9-star immortal foundation. A terrifying aura came crashing down like 100,000 mountains. The 9-star immortal foundation trembled as the formation flashed. Guards rushed out from below. Who was it? He actually dared to behave atrociously here. Hurry up and scram, or I'll let you. He died without a burial place. These people roared. After the newcomers heard this, they snorted coldly. Threatening us? I think you guys don't want to live anymore. Tell your immortal foundation hall master to come out. We have something to see him about. Who do you think you are? How dare you ask our palace master to come out? You. Are you even worthy? The guard sneered. However, they soon couldn't laugh anymore. One of the people in front of him threw out a punch. A punch was thrown out. The punch penetrated the bodies of the 5 guards and tore them into pieces. At the same time he roared into the sky. 9-star hall master, come out. His voice was like 10,000 bolts of thunder, ringing out in the air. The people in the 9-star immortal foundation were all stunned when they heard this. They raised their heads and stared at the sky. Heavens, who dared to behave atrociously here? And they wanted to see their palace master directly? Who was it? Courting death. How could the sacred grounds of the immortal foundation be a place for you to behave atrociously? A sword light arced through the air, as fast as a shooting star. However, the person in front slapped out with a palm, containing the power to split the heavens and earth. The sword light was shattered. The 9-star immortal foundation expert coughed out blood and was sent flying. His face was filled with fear. The others exclaimed in shock. This was the aura of primal chaos. It was someone from the primal chaos race. Don't attack first. They stopped him. An elder walked out and cupped his fists. May I ask if you are a fellow Taoist from the primal chaos race? The person in front stood with his hands behind his back. He spoke. At least you have some knowledge. We are indeed from the primal chaos race. It was really them. But soon, they were enraged. Although the primal chaos race is powerful, we the 9 Immortals Foundation aren't so easy to provoke. That's right, when have we offended you? Why did you come and destroy our sect the moment you arrived? Are you not placing us in your eyes at all? These people were extremely enraged. The primal chaos expert coldly snorted. No grudges. How laughable. Was Lin Wudy invited by you guys? Where is he? Tell him to scram out here and accept his death. As he spoke until here, a terrifying killing intent gushed forth from him. The countenances of those in the main Immortal Foundation changed. These people were actually here to look for Lin Wudy. Damn it, Lin Wudy was indeed invited by them. It was just that he only had these connections. Yet, these people actually came knocking on their door because of this. They were so angry that they almost coughed up blood. As expected, the 3rd elder from the 9-star Immortal Foundation spoke. So it turns out that you guys are here to look for Lin Wudy. Our relationship with Lin Wudy isn't that deep. In addition, after Lin Wudy returned, he didn't come to our 9-star Immortal Foundation. According to the information we received, he went to the Nebula Immortal Foundation. If you guys want to look for him, go to the Starfall Immortal Foundation. The primal chaos expert coldly laughed. Do you think we are 3-year-old children? If the Nebula Immortal Foundation snatched your man, you guys wouldn't care about it. According to the information we received, Lin Wudy was invited by you. He is definitely here. Obediently hand him over or don't blame us for being impolite. Even if he isn't here, you guys have to be responsible for finding him. 3 days time. If we don't see Lin Wudy after 3 days, don't blame us for being ruthless. The people from the 9-star Immortal Foundation all went crazy when they heard this. Damn it, these fellows were actually so arrogant. Were they not placing us in their eyes at all? What's there to be arrogant about? Just a few people and they dare to behave so atrociously in our territory. Let's act together and finish them off. That's right. Killing them would be as easy as flipping one's hand. Many people soared into the air. They all had extremely terrifying laws on them. However, the 3rd elder shook his head, telling them not to act recklessly. The primal chaos race was able to split the heavens and earth apart, possessing mysterious and unfathomable power. And the primal chaos race even had a double crown king with boundless prospects. More importantly, it was said that the primal chaos race had a quasi-emperor. In the era where great emperors didn't appear, quasi-emperors could sweep across the world. Who could be a match for such a clan? Hence, if they really fought, it was very possible that the 9-star Immortal Foundation would suffer heavy losses. If they really offended a quasi-emperor, they would definitely die. The third elder's face was filled with smiles. Misunderstanding. There is no hatred between us. Don't let our two major powers become enemies just because of a Lin Wuti. Everyone, please. They respectfully invited the people from the primal chaos race in. Men, give me a good reception. The third elder said loudly. At the same time, he waved his hand and summoned 2 more elders. Chapter 5296. The 2 elders brought their men to the Fallen Star Immortal platform. I wonder what the 2 of you are here for? The elder of the Fallen Star Immortal platform laughed. The elder of the 9-star Immortal platform said, "Cut the crap, we are here to fetch young Master Lin." What young Master Lin? You must be referring to His Highness. Then you have come at the wrong time. Young Master Lin has gone out for some matters. As for when he will return, we have no idea. Why don't you come back a year later? A year? The elder of the 9-star Immortal platform was enraged. Do you take us for idiots? Do you take us for idiots? The face of the Fallen Star Immortal platform's expert darkened. Do you think we don't know that the Hundun race is here? The elder of the 9-star Immortal platform's face changed. It was good that they knew. The Hundun race had boundary emperors. They were extremely powerful. Now that they want Lin Wuti, if you guys still insist on protecting Lin Wuti, then don't blame us for being impolite. We will report the situation as it is, and the Hundun race will point their swords at you guys. Let's see if your Nebula Immortal platform can withstand it. After saying this, they laughed coldly and turned to leave. The expression of the Nebula Immortal platform's expert darkened. To think that the experts of the Hundun race would come as well. These people had the power to split the heavens and earth apart, and they even had a boundary emperor behind them. The other party didn't even care about the emperor race, let alone the immortal platforms. This matter caused countless elders to fret. Even the Fallen Star Hall Master sucked in a breath of cold air. He personally went to find Lin Xian and explain the situation. Could it be that they were here for the longevity lamp? Lin Xian shook his head and laughed coldly. They were here for revenge. I defeated Hun Tian in the immortal ground. Hun Tian probably couldn't take it lying down, and found someone to take revenge. Hee, what a piece of trash. To think that he didn't have the courage to find me. What a piece of trash. Someone like him doesn't deserve to be the double crown champion. Hearing this, the surrounding experts and elders sucked in a breath of cold air. Piece of trash? No one would believe him if he said it out loud. However, if it was Lin Wuti who said it, then it was really pardonable. Because Lin Wuti had defeated Hun Tian, he was qualified to say such words. In the next moment, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. The Hundun clan is coming at us aggressively. What do you plan to do? Are you going to hand me over? The Nebula Palace Master shook his head. We don't dare. We have already said that we will stand on His Highness' side. Please rest assured, Your Highness. Since it's a matter between you and Hun Tian, then it's a matter between young people. Young people's problems naturally had to be solved using young people's methods. Why don't we hold a martial arts conference for the younger generation and gather these geniuses together again? Your Highness, you can also solve this problem. As for those experts, I don't think they have the face to make a move in front of young people. All right, let's do that then. Lin Xian nodded. He also knew that it was impossible for his immortal foundation to start a war with the primal chaos race. After all, the Hundun tribe had quasi-emperors, which was very dangerous. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He didn't expect that he would be targeted by the Hundun clan again. Damn it. At the same time, he also knew that because of the longevity lamp, the other Immortal Foundation experts would definitely target him. Lin Xian sneered. Come then. So what if I have to become enemies with the world? Soon, the news spread that the Nebula Immortal platform was going to hold a martial arts conference for the younger generation. The moment the news was out, Countless people were shocked. Who would be in the mood to participate in this? But when they found out that the first person invited by the Nebula Immortal platform was Hun Tian, they were shocked. Many people were shocked. Everyone said that Lin Wudi was at the Nebula Immortal platform. Now that the experts of the Hundun clan were coming, the other party invited Hun Tian. Interesting. It seemed like the Nebula Immortal platform wanted to help Lin Wudi resolve this crisis. Let's go and take a look. They were interested. Hun Tian, the double champion, had a strong reputation. And Lin Wudi was a new force to be reckoned with. Moreover, he had obtained a mysterious treasure from the immortal land. Everyone naturally wanted to go and take a look. So in an instant, countless people gathered. Gu Feng's face was cold. He also went. On the other side, Yi Wudao also went. Long Wu of the Thousand Dragons court also arrived with the experts of the Dragon clan. At the same time, a figure walked out of the immortal land. This figure was a little pale. He was dressed in cotton clothes and had an incomparably mysterious aura. He was Yao Guang. At this moment, not only did he come out, but he also brought out the remnant soul of the Nine Heavens Quasi-Emperor. After learning about the matter between Lin Wudi and Hun Tian, he sneered and walked out as well. Lin Wudi and Hun Tian, these two people, he would not let them off. Sooner or later, he would devour both of them. Although it was a gathering for the younger generation, there were also many experts of the older generation who were prepared to go and watch. They were really curious about the longevity lamp. Among them, there was a figure in a black robe. He was very strange, like a ghost. He looked at the Nebula Immortal platform in the distance and smiled. Longevity lamp, kid, you are really lucky. Long time no see, I didn't expect you to even have the longevity lamp. Thinking of this, he also moved and walked into the distance. In an instant, the wind and clouds gathered on the Nebula Immortal platform. The Nebula Immortal platform naturally opened its doors to welcome the guests. Whether it was the young geniuses or the experts of the older generation, as long as they came, they would be invited in. At the core of the immortal platform, Lin Xian sat there cross-legged. He entered the sword world. He knew that there would be countless experts coming this time, so he had to prepare in advance. In the sword world, there was an intact corpse. It was the corpse of the magnetic quasi-land. Lin Xian took a deep breath and said, "Senior, I am in danger again this time. I might use your corpse again. If I don't forgive you, when I become the great emperor in the future, I will find a good place to bury you." Lin Xian bowed respectfully at Kundi's corpse. The Hellfire Dragon flew over and said, "Kid, are you really going to use it? The burden on your soul is very big. Even if you have the Rinnegan, you have to use it carefully. What I know is that once the Rinnegan is overused, there will be terrible sequelae. There is even a possibility that your eyes will be destroyed. I know, I will be careful." Lin Xian took a deep breath. He would not always rely on the power of the quasi-emperor corpse. But this time he was really anxious. So many people wanted to kill him. Even the experts of the older generation came. He had to use the quasi-emperor corpse. He had to make a show of strength. He wanted to let everyone know that he, Lin Xian, was not to be trifled with. With the power of his Rinnegan, he could only use the quasi-emperor corpse once more. But this time, he had to set off a storm. Thinking of this, Lin Xian stood up. His eyes were shining with a cold light. Chapter 5297. There were already many people outside. They were all looking for Lin Xian. However, it seemed that Lin Xian hadn't arrived yet. At this moment, a mysterious man in a black robe floated into the distance. "Who are you? The core area is in front. You can't enter." A guard stopped him. The mysterious man in the black robe said, "I'm here to look for Lin Xian." "Why are you looking for His Highness?" These guards were extremely nervous. The man in the black robe smiled and said, "Tell him." "I said he's Master He. I'm here to look for him." The guards were puzzled. "This is His Highness Master?" They were stunned. He Shan stood with his hands behind his back. "Hurry up and inform him. If you tell him, he'll definitely come to see me." "All right, just you wait." One of the guards flew towards the core area. He found Lin Xian. "Your Highness, someone is looking for you outside." Oh, who is it? Lin Xian asked. The guard said. He said he's your Master He. Lin Xian was stunned when he heard that. Who is Master He? He's so reckless. What does he look like? The guard said. He's wearing a black robe. His aura is cold. He doesn't look like a good person. It's him. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. Let him in. Lin Xian had already guessed who it was. Soon He Shan came in. Kid, how have you been? Let Master He take a good look at you. Lin Xian's face turned black. Damn you. It's really you, old man. Lin Xian realized that it was He Shan. He Shan flew over and said with a smile. I heard you got the longevity lamp. Take it out and let me see. I thought you felt that I was in danger and came to help me. You actually came to see the longevity lamp. Lin Xian gritted his teeth, but he still took it out. He knew He Shan's temper. A longevity lamp was gently pulsing, releasing a mysterious aura. He Shan looked at him nonstop. Then he exclaimed, Amazing, no wonder so many people want it. You know him? Lin Xian was also puzzled. Black Mountain spoke. He had heard that the Heavenly Court and the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty had some connections. When I was in the Heavenly Court, I read about the longevity lamp. This thing seems to be related to the Emperor realm, so you must protect it well. Lin Xian was also shocked that it was related to the Great Emperor. No wonder he couldn't figure out what it was even after studying it for so long. It seemed like his cultivation level wasn't high enough. While the two of them were chatting, more and more experts were arriving outside. Kuanping Zi also came. People from the Purple Mansion also came, including Shen Jingqiu. At this moment, an earth-shattering power appeared between heaven and earth, shattering the void. Countless large cracks appeared. Countless people cried out in alarm. The people of the Primal Chaos clan had arrived. Sure enough, the aura of Primal Chaos gathered between heaven and earth, and the people of the Primal Chaos clan appeared. The leader was Hun Tian. After Hun Tian arrived, he said, Lin Wudi. Did he not dare to come out? Get over here and accept your death. An angry roar shook the surroundings. Countless people were shocked. These people were indeed here for Lin Wudi. The elder of the Starcloud Immortal Palace walked out and said, Everyone, please calm down. His Highness will come out soon. Everyone, please take a seat first. Another man from the Primal Chaos clan walked out. This middle-aged man's aura was incomparably terrifying. He snorted coldly. I'll give you 3 seconds to get Lin Wudi out. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite. As soon as these words were spoken, those people from the Starfall Immortal platform were enraged. Their faces sank. You have to understand that this is the Starfall Immortal platform, not a place where anyone can behave atrociously. Is the Starfall Immortal platform very powerful? If you dare to stop us, we'll just kill you. The middle-aged man from the Primal Chaos clan was incomparably domineering. Terrifying killing intent erupted from his body and swept out in all directions. The expressions of those elders changed. Even the Starfall Immortal Palace Master walked out and shouted, Stop! Stop! Obediently, there's still room for discussion. Otherwise, today will be the day of your Starfall Immortal Palace's destruction. They were incomparably domineering. The others were also in an uproar. One must know that this was the Yuhua Immortal Dynasty. But the Primal Chaos clan didn't care at all. They wanted to see the reactions of the other immortal platforms. At this moment, someone from the Origin Magnetic Immortal platform walked out and sneered. I advise you to ask Lin Wudi to hand it over. Otherwise, your Starfall Immortal platform will end up in a miserable state. That's right. Starfall Immortal platform, let me give you some advice. Don't go against the Primal Chaos clan. You won't be able to fight against them. Also, the longevity lamp in Lin Wudi's hands belongs to the Origin Magnetic Quasi-Emperor. That's our old ancestor. The longevity lamp can only belong to us. Ask him to hand it over. Otherwise, we won't let you off. There were also experts from the Myriad Dragon Imperial Court who sneered. Lin Wudi will definitely die today. We have to avenge our prince. Hearing these voices, the surrounding spectators felt their scalps go numb. It's over. Each of these people is an earth-shattering expert. Now that they are attacking together, this Lin Wudi is probably really in danger. Last time, Lin Wuti was in danger of being destroyed. However, a quasi-emperor appeared behind Lin Wuti. He stopped the battle. From then on, no one dared to touch him. But it was different now. The Primal Chaos clan also had a quasi-emperor who was completely capable of fighting against the expert behind Lin Xian. Therefore, this time no one could help each other in the battle. That Lin Wuti will definitely die. Thinking of this, some people sneered. This Lin Wuti is not simple. He has the 9 Yang divine body and the inheritance of a great emperor. I feel that he is not worthy of these treasures. Kill him and we will split the treasures. His voice drifted. However, many people's eyes turned red. That's right. Lin Xian really has too many treasures on him. If they could get one of them, they would be able to soar. You ants dare to have any ideas about me? I think you guys are tired of living. At this moment, a cold voice sounded. Everyone's scalps went numb. In the next moment, they saw someone walk out. They turned their heads and exclaimed, "It's Lin Wuti." What? He actually dares to come out. Shouldn't he be hiding in fear now? He is an idiot. He will definitely die in such a situation. Lin Xian strode over. Beside him was Murong Qingqing and the others. There was also a black-robed man. It was Heishan. After the group of people arrived, Lin Xian looked disdainfully in all directions. Who was the one who said that he wanted my 9 Yang divine body and the inheritance of a great emperor? Step forward. I will give him a chance. His gaze swept across all directions. However, the surroundings were silent. No one dared to step forward. After all, Lin Wuti's reputation was built with his strength. Lin Xian sneered. I said that you are trash, but you don't believe me. You don't even have the courage to come out and fight with me. A bunch of trash. What did you say? Is someone angry? Lin Xian sneered. I said that you are all trash. Are you not convinced? If you are, then come and fight. Whoever wants the treasures, see if they have the life to take them. Lin Xian was also angry. In the previous shocking battle, Wine Lord appeared and intimidated the world. No one dared to deal with him. He did not expect that these people would gather together again. Chapter 5298. Kid, you are too arrogant. Do you really think that you are invincible? A middle-aged man from the Hundan race snorted coldly. He slapped out with his palm. The terrifying palm covered the sky as it charged towards Lin Xian. How terrifying! Countless people exclaimed. They didn't expect that the one who attacked wasn't Hun Tian. It was someone else. Lin Xian's face darkened. However, he didn't attack or retreat. The elder from the Nebula Immortal platform snorted coldly and punched out as well. This punch was like a meteor, emitting a bright light. It blocked the Hundan Tian's palm. At the same time, the elder roared. You dare to attack our highness? The people from the Hundan race had cold expressions. At this moment, the person from the 9-star Immortal platform walked out and said, Nebula Immortal platform, on the account that we are the descendants of the Yuhua Immortal dynasty, we will give you a piece of advice. Don't bother about this matter anymore. The 9-star Immortal platform restrained the Starfall Immortal platform. The middle-aged man from the Hundan race sneered. Let's see who can save you this time. He attacked again, bringing with him a terrifying power. The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. It seemed like the Hundan race came prepared. This young man wouldn't be able to block such a terrifying attack. No matter how strong this Lin Wuti was, he wouldn't be able to fight against it. Lin Xian's expression was incomparably cold. The Hundan race was really courting death. He still didn't attack. Behind Black Mountain, a burly man attacked. The axe in his hand slashed down, tearing the clouds apart. He blocked the Hundan Tian's palm again. He blocked it again. Countless people exclaimed. They didn't notice that they didn't know the person who attacked this time. The middle-aged man from the Hundan race frowned. He stared at the other party and asked coldly, Who are you? How dare you interfere in the matters of the Hundan race? Do you want your race to be annihilated? Is the Hundan race that powerful? That burly man snorted. Black Mountain also walked out and sneered. You are a saint lord. How dare you attack a young man? Is your face a dog's body? You are courting death. The middle-aged man from the Hundan race roared in anger. A terrifying killing intent swept towards Black Mountain. Black Mountain snorted as well. A terrifying aura from his body. Why? Angry out of humiliation? You want to kill me? Unfortunately, you can't kill me. Let me ask you, is the Primal Chaos clan as shameless as He-shan? He was actually despicable enough to attack a young man. The people of the Hundun clan shouted coldly. What we do has nothing to do with you. Scram. Black Mountain laughed. Others might be afraid of you, but our heavenly court is not afraid of your Primal Chaos race. As soon as these words came out, the surrounding people were also surprised. The people of the heavenly court were truly shocked. Unexpectedly, Black Mountain was actually from the heavenly court. Even the Hundun race's expression changed. Naturally, they had heard of the heaven court before. But soon the middle-aged man laughed. What can a mere heavenly court do to me? You were all wiped out tens of thousands of years ago. Even if there are still people alive now, they are all stray dogs. You should worry about how to survive. If you dare to meddle in the affairs of the Primal Chaos tribe again, I will send you to hell immediately. He-shan snorted coldly. Was that so? Do you like to bully young people so much? Alright, I'll bully the young people today as well. He must be the Double Crown King Hun Tian. Today, I will kill him as the divine ancestor. I'll let you have a taste of what it's like to be suppressed. Damn it, how dare you? That middle-aged man roared in anger. The other experts of the Primal Chaos tribe were also on guard. They quickly protected Hun Tian. Hun Tian's face was cold. When He-shan saw this, he laughed out loud. Why? Are you guys very angry? Are you worried? You guys should know that this doesn't feel good, right? Then why did you guys use the divine ancestor to kill Lin Xian? Since you guys don't abide by the rules, then come and hurt each other. Anyway, our heavenly court doesn't have many people. After killing your Double Crown King, we will find a world to go into seclusion for 500 years. I reckon you guys won't be able to find us in this lifetime. But it's different for the Primal Chaos tribe. If you guys dare to make a move on Lin Xian, you will be offending a boundary emperor. Even if the Primal Chaos tribe is too strong, can you guys escape? Your family is right there. When the boundary emperor comes looking for you, even if you don't die, you will suffer a great loss. The moment these words came out, the others were in an uproar. That was indeed the case. The faces of the Primal Chaos tribe turned extremely ugly. You dare to threaten us? Black Mountain sneered. Yes, I am. What can you do to me? Bite me? The Primal Chaos tribe was so angry that they almost vomited blood. The others didn't dare to say anything. For a moment, the atmosphere was extremely strange. Lin Xian's lips curled up. He stood with his hands behind his back and watched quietly. At this moment, someone spoke again. It was the people from the Origin Magnetic Immortal platform. They said, "We don't care about the grudges between you guys. We only want one thing, the longevity lamp. That belongs to our ancestors. Only the Origin Magnetic Immortal platform deserves to have it. Hurry up and hand it over." That's right. That's someone else's treasure. Give it back. The people from Wan Chao Chao snorted. The people from the Purple Mansion also said, "Lin Wudi, hand over the treasure. It doesn't belong to you." The moment these words came out, the people from the Starry Sky Immortal platform's faces changed again. They didn't expect that trouble would come after they had just solved a crisis. Lin Xian laughed. "It doesn't belong to me? What a joke." Back then, there were many people in the Origin Magnetic Immortal Cave. Are you guys blind? Or did water enter your brain? Back then, the Origin Magnetic Quasi-Emperor personally said that he would give it to me. In this world, there's no one more suitable than me to get it. Ridiculous. Who can prove it? The Palace Lord of the Origin Magnetic Immortal platform walked out and shouted coldly. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty sneered. Who are you trying to fool? Why should the Quasi-Emperor give it to you? The people from the Purple Mansion also said, "Stop dreaming. Hurry up and hand it over." Lin Xian snorted. Who can prove it? He pointed in all directions. They can prove it. Kuan Pengzi can prove it, Fire Qilin can prove it, all the top geniuses from the Immortal platform can prove it. Because they are all here. You are talking nonsense. We don't know. The genius from the Greenwood Immortal platform sneered. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty also laughed. How can we not know? Lin Xian said. Is that so? Then do you dare to swear on your martial heart? The moment these words came out, no one dared to speak. This oath wasn't something that could be casually said. One must know that at their cultivation level, there were some things that they were very respectful of. For example, if they swore on their martial heart, they might be struck by lightning if they lied. Even if they weren't struck by lightning, they would have a heart demon in the future. It would be difficult to take another step on the martial path. Hence, no one dared to speak. Lin Xian sneered. Why don't you dare? Didn't you all swear that you didn't see it? This means that you all are guilty. The surrounding people were slapped in the face, but they couldn't refute. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He stared at the Origin Magnetic Immortal platform. Did you see it or not? They can all prove it. As for you all keep saying that you are the descendants of the Origin Magnetic Quasi-Emperor. But you all don't respect your ancestor at all. You even want to go against your ancestor's orders. Chapter 5299. The people from the Origin Magnetic Immortal platform were all stunned. They couldn't answer. Because if they didn't admit it and continued to oppose Lin Xian, it would mean that they didn't acknowledge their ancestor. But if they acknowledged their ancestor, it would be the opposite of what they said before. This would be a ruthless slap to their faces. For a moment, they were so angry that their bodies trembled. Lin Xian sneered. You're still embarrassing yourself here? Get lost. The people from the Origin Magnetic Immortal platform gritted their teeth. Damnable brat, don't be too arrogant. That's right. Aren't you protected by the Heavenly Court? Otherwise, would you dare to be so arrogant here? Lin Xian laughed when he heard that. Do I need to rely on others to be arrogant? I'll give you a chance to fight one-on-one. Make your move. Fine, that's what you said. The people from the Origin Magnetic Immortal platform snorted. They looked at one of the figures. Fairy, please make your move. A woman in colorful clothes walked out. She was beautiful and had a cold aura. Her appearance attracted the attention of countless people. Who was this person? Oh heavens, could she be the legendary Yu Linglong? She had the 9 stars body. What? The 9 stars body also appeared? This was also a super strong physique in the universe. The 9 stars body had the heart of 7 orifices. Such a physique had powerful recovery abilities and vitality. Moreover, the heart of 7 orifices allowed one's comprehension of the Tao of heaven and earth to surpass others. Hence, the 9 stars body was an extremely terrifying physique. Hearing this, the people in the surroundings were shocked. They didn't expect another super strong physique to appear. Yu Linglong also walked out. She looked at Lin Xian and said, You are Lin Wudi, right? Do you dare to fight with me? The wager is the longevity lamp. If you lose, you have to obediently hand over the longevity lamp. How about it? Lin Xian laughed when he heard that. What if you lose? If I lose, you can do whatever you want to me. How about that? That's fair, right? Yu Linglong said. Her eyes were filled with confidence because she felt that she wouldn't lose. She was extremely confident in the 9 stars body. Lin Xian nodded. All right, let's fight. How do you want to fight? Yu Linglong said. Of course, I can't rely on weapons. You have an extreme weapon, and if you use it, I really can't defeat you. Lin Xian said. Don't worry, I definitely won't use an extreme grade weapon. Now you can relax. That's good. Yu Linglong smiled. Without her extreme grade weapon, she was not afraid of her opponent. She said, Then I'll have a taste of your 9 yang divine body. Is it comparable to my exquisite body? At this point, a multicolored light soared from her body, turning into countless laws and chains that danced in the sky. She was like a god, standing tall in the void. The surrounding people were shocked and cried out in alarm. This was the exquisite body. It's too mysterious. I think Lin Wudi has met a strong enemy this time. Lin Xian coldly snorted, an extremely terrifying light erupting from his eyes. It formed a monstrous rune, which then turned into a blade of reincarnation that slashed forward. At this moment, an eye appeared between heaven and earth, causing everyone to feel fear. What kind of eye was that? They all went crazy. Even Yu Linglong's pupils constricted. Her expression changed. In the next moment, she roared angrily, and the exquisite body's laws soared into the sky to block. However, the blade of reincarnation slashed down, splitting her in half. The godlike body fell, and blood dyed the sky red. The laws were shattered. The surrounding people were all stunned. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. There were even many people who knelt on the ground in fear. How was this possible? That was the exquisite body, and it was killed in one blow. The light of reincarnation in Lin Xian's eyes disappeared. He said coldly, "The exquisite body is only so." His voice was sonorous, and even heaven and earth rumbled. The surrounding people's scalps went numb. Previously, in their opinion, there should be a shocking battle between the exquisite body and the nine-yang divine body. It was hard to say who would win and who would lose. However, who would have thought that Lin Xian did not use the nine-yang divine body at all? Instead, he used a godlike eye. Especially that ray of light just now. It was too terrifying. The people from the Origin Magnetic Immortal platform were also stunned. How was this possible? A supreme expert that they had invited had fallen just like that? Was Lin Wuti already so terrifying? Lin Xian said coldly, "Who else are you going to send? I'll take them all." The people from the Origin Magnetic Immortal platform fell silent. Even the exquisite body was not a match for him. Who could contend against him? The others were even more shocked. Lin Xian sneered. "Now you still say that I relied on the heavenly court to become strong?" Everyone was shocked. As expected of a supreme being, this Lin Wuti was unparalleled. Lin Xian turned around and looked at the surroundings. He stared at Hun Tian. Then he looked at the people from the Purple Mansion and said coldly, "What about you?" Those people were also silent. Lin Xian looked at Shen Jingqiu and said, "Qiu'er, come back. No matter what you need, I'll give it to you. Don't stay in the Purple Mansion anymore." Shen Jingqiu nodded. She said okay. Then she walked forward. No, at this time, the Purple Mansion's mansion lord stood out and stopped her. "Don't forget the agreement between us." Shen Jingqiu's eyes flashed with a terrifying light. A mysterious figure appeared beside her. "Our agreement is over. I've already gotten what I want." Damn it. The Purple Mansion's people's faces turned ugly. "But I haven't gotten what I want. You haven't given it to me." Shen Jingqiu snorted. "Purple Mansion, don't be greedy. You've already gotten what you want. What's next doesn't belong to you. Ridiculous. My Purple Mansion spent so much effort to help you. You want to repay me with those things? Tell me your secret. Otherwise, don't even think about leaving the Purple Mansion today." The reason why he cooperated with Shen Jingqiu was that the Purple Mansion really wanted the cultivation technique on Shen Jingqiu's body. He felt that it was also a forbidden cultivation technique, not weaker than the heaven-devouring demonic art. If the Purple Mansion could obtain it, their strength would greatly increase. But now, Shen Jingqiu did not intend to give it to them. How could the mansion lord be willing? Lin Xian stood out and said coldly, "Why don't you try to attack Qiu'er?" The Purple Mansion lord turned around, and a terrifying killing intent appeared. It was as if the end of the world had arrived, and everyone was frightened. "Lin Wuti, you're too arrogant. Although you're a young paragon, can you fight against a real divine master?" His powerful strength swept across the land. Lin Xian's eyes flashed with the light of reincarnation again, and it turned into a world of reincarnation that kept spinning. He used his soul to resist. At the same time he snorted, "It seems like you're really courting death. Are you not going to obey the Boundary Emperor's orders? The Divine Master is not allowed to attack me. Otherwise, you can just wait to die. Is that so?" That was in the past. Now, there's more than one Boundary Emperor in the world. The Purple Mansion Lord sneered and looked at the Hundun tribe. "Fellow Taoist, shall we join forces?" "Of course." The Hundun tribe's experts walked out. Chapter 5300. The Hundun tribe brought out a quasi-emperor to neutralize the threat that Lin Wuti posed to them. The Purple Mansion Lord laughed loudly. "Now can you still threaten me? Go to hell." He slammed his palm over. The terrifying palm filled the sky as if it was going to shatter the universe. He charged towards Lin Xian. However, his palm didn't land because Black Mountain made a move. Black Mountain also punched out with his black fist. It swept through the sky and shook the void, blocking the Purple Mansion Lord's palm. The two of them swept through the universe. You want to fight? I'll accompany you to the end. Black Mountain sneered. Lin Xian pointed his sword forward. Purple Mansion, is there no one in the younger generation who can fight? Don't talk nonsense with him, just attack. Master of the Great Wilderness, go. The Purple Mansion Lord snorted. On this side, an expert surrounded by a desolate aura walked out. She was the Master of the Great Wilderness. She was someone from 20,000 years ago. The moment she appeared, a terrifying desolate aura swept out in all directions. At this moment, everyone felt their scalps go numb. Long Wu also shouted angrily. The 10,000 Dragons Court attacked to kill Lin Wudi and avenge the prince. The experts beside the 10,000 dragons attacked. Similarly, a divine ancestor walked out. On the Han Dun tribe's origin magnetic immortal platform, another divine ancestor walked out. These divine ancestors covered the sky and covered the earth. They all stared at Lin Xian. Everyone's scalps went numb. What kind of power was this? With so many divine ancestors facing one person, this Lin Wudi was probably going to die. How dare you? The Nebula Palace Lord also rushed out. At the same time, the power of the immortal platform and the power of the heavenly court brought by Black Mountain also erupted at this moment. They rushed over and confronted the surrounding people. However, on the opposite side, the Purple Mansion Lord, the Han Dun tribe, the 10,000 Dragons Court, the Origin Magnetic Immortal Platform, and the Destiny Twins race all attacked. Once these powers were unleashed, a terrifying battle instantly broke out. The surrounding people all retreated far away. Everyone was terrified. What kind of battle was this? Lin Xian's side was suppressed. Among them, 5 divine ancestors attacked Lin Xian together. The void that Lin Xian was in was completely shattered. Lin Xian bellowed, he entered the sword world, and at the same time, he sent a sound transmission to the Black Mountain. Help me hold on for a few seconds. I'm going to use my trump card. Black Mountain nodded in understanding. He commanded the Heavenly Court to unleash terrifying power. The Heavenly Court formed an illusion of the Southern Heavenly Gate, suppressing heaven and earth. It's useless. The divine ancestor of the primal chaos race sneered. You can't save him at all. He will definitely die today. The Purple Mansion Master, Sacred Master of Destiny, and the other experts also attacked madly. Hun Tian, Kuan Pengzi and the others retreated far away as they watched the battle anxiously. Lin Wudi was dead for sure. The corners of Hun Tian's mouth raised into a smile. This was because Lin Xian had long since disappeared from this world. The others were also puzzled. Had he been killed? The phantom image of the Southern Heavenly Gate kept shaking as cracks appeared on its surface. Heishan's face changed. What happened to the kid? The Southern Heavenly Gate was about to shatter. It couldn't hold on any longer. In the next moment, Lin Xian's voice rang out. That's enough. Watch me next. The Southern Heavenly Gate disappeared and hundreds of black holes appeared in the void, connecting to the universe. The others were shocked. The Heavenly Court had lost. Lin Wudi was dead for sure. Haha, I think his soul has already been destroyed. One after another, voices rang out. However, at this moment, a figure walked out from between heaven and earth. There are so many sacred masters here. It's fun to bully a young man, isn't it? You like to bully the weak, don't you? Today, I'll let you know what it means to bully the weak. The figure was surrounded by a mysterious light. He stretched out a finger and pointed forward. Who do you think you are? How dare you fight against me? The master of the Great Desolation sneered. He was an expert from 20,000 years ago. At this moment, he formed a desolate divine palm and slapped forward. However, after colliding with the finger, he suddenly retreated. The desolate sky divine palm cracked open, and half of his body turned into a bloody mist. In the end, his entire body was split in half. He screamed and retreated, but it was useless. Under this attack, his soul was destroyed. He was dead. The surrounding people were stunned. That was the master of the Great Desolation. He was an extremely powerful existence among the sacred masters. But now he couldn't even block a finger. Who was this newcomer? They were horrified and couldn't believe it. Damn it! Could it be that the heavenly court still had an extremely terrifying expert? After all, this person walked out of the southern heavenly gate, but they had never heard of him. If the heavenly court had such a terrifying expert, why would they hide until now? They probably swept across the world long ago. Retreat, retreat quickly. At this moment, the people of the Purple Mansion were terrified. The people of the Destiny clan, the 10,000 Dragons court, and the Hundan tribe all retreated. They all fled in all directions. However, that figure sneered. Don't you think it's too late to leave now? Settle the universe. With a furious roar, he stomped his foot, and a large crack spread in all directions. The entire world froze. Everyone felt their bodies turn cold. They seemed to have fallen into the other party's control and couldn't escape at all. In the next moment, a figure strolled in the void and walked toward the sacred ancestor of destiny. The sacred ancestor of destiny was an old man. Half of his face looked like an angel, while the other half looked like a demon. At this moment his expression was terrified. He knelt on the ground with a plop. "Senior, please spare my life." However, a foot stomped down and crushed him into pieces. He screamed in pain, and his soul was destroyed. He was dead. Another sacred master had died. The others felt their scalps go numb. The spectators were even more terrified. This power was difficult to resist. The figure walked in front of the primal chaos race again. The middle-aged man of the primal chaos race also had an ugly expression. He gritted his teeth and said, "Let us go. Let me tell you, the primal chaos race has a boundary emperor." "Is that so? Then let him come over and talk to me." "You don't have the right to talk to me." The figure raised his palm and slapped forward. With a bang, the primal chaos race's sacred ancestor shattered. Half of his body was also smashed into pieces. He turned into chaos energy and screamed crazily. Your voice. You're Lin Wudi?" "Correct, it's me." The corners of the figure's mouth curled up, and then he waved his hand gently. The primal chaos sacred ancestor's soul was destroyed. "What, Lin Wudi? How is this possible?" Everyone was stunned. However, they carefully identified the voice and realized that it really was Lin Wudi's voice. However, the man in front of them was not Lin Wudi at all. Moreover, he did not have the 9-yang divine body. What's going on? The experts of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were terrified. Killing a sacred master with a raise of his hand. Only a boundary emperor could do that. This body was a boundary emperor's. They were so scared that their scalps went numb. However, some people exclaimed, "Boundary Emperor magnetism." This was the Boundary Emperor magnetism. These people had all entered the cave abode before, so they naturally recognized him. They did not expect the Boundary Emperor magnetism to come out. What was even more puzzling was that the Boundary Emperor magnetism's voice was the same as Lin Wudi's. Chapter 5301. Ancestor, this is our ancestor. The people of the Origin Magnetic Immortal platform roared excitedly. Greeting their ancestor, they ran over and knelt on the ground. Lin Xian turned around and looked at these people. He sneered and kicked them away. "Ancestor? Do you still recognize me? I said before that the longevity lamp is for Lin Wudi. But you dare to disobey my orders." "We don't dare." These people shook their heads frantically. They felt that this was the power of a quasi-emperor, which completely surpassed them. The surrounding people were all stunned. No one had thought that such a situation would happen. Originally, these sacred masters attacked Lin Wudi together, which was definitely a dead end. But who would have thought that a quasi-emperor would make a move at the critical moment? And the voice belonged to Lin Wudi. This scene was too strange. Lin Xian looked at the Hundan race again, his eyes emitting a cold light. The people of the Hundan race retreated frantically. "Leave." Thinking of this, they turned around and fled. However, Lin Xian sneered. "Don't you think it's too late to leave now?" He took a step forward and instantly blocked the path of these people. The people of the Hundan race were terrified. "Don't go too far." "That's right, as a quasi-emperor, what's the point of bullying juniors like us?" Lin Xian laughed loudly. Why, now you know that you're going too far. Then what's the point of you sacred masters bullying a young man? The surrounding people were shocked. This quasi-emperor was obviously standing up for Lin Xian. One had to know that the fact that so many sacred ancestors had joined forces to kill Lin Xian was absolutely intolerable. But no one could stop them. Now that this quasi-emperor had appeared, he wanted to give them a taste of their own medicine. The people of the Han Dun race didn't know what to say. In the end, they could only grit their teeth and say, "We were forced to do this." Forced? Then I was forced to do this too. With that, Lin Xian attacked again and slapped out. 2 sacred ancestors of the Han Dun race died. Another kick flew out, and a large number of experts of the Han Dun race turned into a bloody mist. No. The remaining people went crazy. They couldn't resist at all. They knelt on the ground. Lin Xian looked past them, and at the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. You all said that you wanted to take revenge for the prince, so I gave you all a chance. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were so scared that their scalps went numb. He didn't dare to speak. In the end, a single slap from Lin Xian turned more than a dozen dragons into a bloody mist. Damn it! Long Wu roared and quickly retreated. She felt a fatal danger. In the next moment he let out a furious roar, and the 10,000 dragons picture flew out, shining brilliantly between heaven and earth. Extreme Dao power flew out. Everyone had hope again. That was great. With an extreme weapon, they could fight against everything. However, Lin Xian controlled the quasi-emperor's corpse to stand there, unmoved. An extreme weapon? He reached out a hand and grabbed the 10,000 dragons diagram. Damn it! Long Wu roared and unleashed the 10,000 dragons picture with all her might. He turned into a dragon image and charged over, clashing with the quasi-emperor's palm. Boom! An earth-shattering sound could be heard. The two of them were actually evenly matched. Everyone went crazy. Was this the power of a quasi-emperor? It was really too powerful. It could actually fight against the 10,000 dragons picture. Of course, there were also people who sighed. That was because Long Wu was too weak and couldn't fully unleash the power of the 10,000 dragons picture. Otherwise, even a quasi-emperor would have to temporarily avoid it. But all of this was useless. No one could fully recover now. An extreme Dao weapon. And this quasi-emperor was a real existence. Boom. After another 3 moves, the 10,000 dragons picture was sent flying. Long Wu also spat out large mouthfuls of blood. However, he was protected by the 10,000 dragons picture, and didn't die. Lin Xian looked around again and said coldly, "Who attacked just now? Kneel down and accept your death." Everyone retreated in fear, not daring to speak. Lin Xian snorted coldly, and attacked the Purple Mansion realm again. The Destiny Clan. Run. At this moment, everyone fled frantically. Lin Xian slapped out, and more than half of the Purple Mansion realm experts died. It was the same for the Destiny Clan. It was very miserable. No one could block it. They couldn't even block a finger. In this world, only Lin Xian stood there. He was surrounded by mountains of corpses and seas of blood. Many sacred lords had died. As for the other saint experts, there were countless of them. At this moment, the entire ancient city was shocked. However, it wasn't over. Lin Xian looked into the distance again. 9-star immortal platforms? They actually betrayed him? Lin Xian's figure flickered and flew into the distance. The people of the 9-star immortal platforms were anxiously waiting. Today, their hall master and the experts of the primal chaos race went to capture Lin Wudi. They didn't know what the result was. Suddenly, they saw the people of the 9-star immortal platforms running back frantically. In fact, even their hall master's face was filled with fear. Quickly activate the Peerless Array. Block it with all your strength. Hall master, what happened? Did a Peerless Tharch come? Was the primal chaos race unwilling to stop? These people were puzzled as they moved. However, no one answered them. At the next moment, a shocking power surged out and the Peerless Array was instantly shattered. The surrounding people all vomited blood, and were sent flying. Among them, many people turned into blood mist. The remaining people knelt on the ground, their faces filled with shock. Was a heavenly god descending? This power was simply too terrifying. Soon they saw a figure descending from the sky. It was a man who exuded a mysterious aura. He was extraordinary. He was like a god. After he arrived, his gaze swept across everyone. Everyone was so frightened that they almost fainted. They couldn't withstand a single gaze from him. Even those elders and sacred ancestors couldn't withstand it. Who was this person? It was too terrifying. When did they, the 9-star immortal platforms, offend such an existence? The hallmaster of the 9-star immortal platforms was trembling in fear. Senior Quasi-Emperor, please forgive us this once. As he spoke, he prostrated on the ground. Quasi-Emperor. The surrounding people narrowed their eyes when they heard this. Their immortal platforms had offended a quasi-emperor. They were almost scared to death. Now you know fear? What choice did you make previously? Lin Xian was a guest you invited, right? In the end, not only did you not protect him, you even framed him together. You want to kill him? Is it wrong for me to punish you now? The 9-star hall master didn't dare to speak. Those elders were also terrified. Since you didn't do anything wrong, go to hell and repent. At this point, a murderous intent appeared on Lin Xian's body. The surrounding people's faces changed. No. Before they could say anything, a huge hand had already slapped over. The 9-star hall master's body was instantly torn into pieces. Those elders beside him were also torn into pieces and turned into a sea of blood. The remaining people all knelt down. That was their hall master. There were also extremely terrifying elders, but they were all annihilated by the palm. They couldn't resist at all. Chapter 5302. Lin Xian looked ahead at the frightened 9-star immortal platform, his eyes still flashing with cold killing intent. The people of the 9-star immortal platform were incomparably terrified. Even their hall master was dead. Who could resist? At this time, an old man walked out from under the ground. This old man was very old. He was a living fossil of the 9-star immortal platform. After he came out, he said in a low voice, "Senior, please spare our lives. We immortal platform will not dare to do it again." Lin Xian snorted coldly. "This is a warning to you all. If there is a next time, I will turn the 9-star immortal platform into ashes." He did not continue to attack, because he felt that his soul had reached a limit. He could no longer control the corpse of this quasi-emperor. However, he felt that it was about time. He killed more than 10 sacred lords in one move, and now he killed an immortal platform hall master, making an immortal platform bow down to him. It was enough to intimidate the entire ancient city. Therefore, Lin Xian snorted coldly, he soared into the sky and disappeared. Above the 9 heavens, Lin Xian opened the sword world. He walked in. After entering, his soul flew out. After entering the main body, Lin Xian's face became incomparably pale. His right eye was already closed. This time, using the power of reincarnation consumed a lot of his soul. Lin Xian was there, using the power of the sword world to repair his soul. Gradually, his face eased a little. The Hellfire Dragon flew out and asked, "How is it?" Lin Xian said, "I have intimidated them for a short time, but it is not over. If someone fully recovers, there will be another great battle with an extreme weapon. Of course, I am worried about another thing. That is the quasi-emperor of the primal chaos race." The Hellfire Dragon sucked in a breath of cold air. If the primal chaos race really had a quasi-emperor, then it would be troublesome. Although Lin Xian could control the quasi-emperor's body now, he could only use its power. Its laws and the strength of its cultivation could not be used. But a living quasi-emperor was different. You could not fight against it at all. Indeed, Lin Xian was able to contend against Quasi-Emperor 9 Firmaments earlier, because Quasi-Emperor 9 Firmaments had just broken the seal and did not have much power. But the Quasi-Emperor of the Primal Chaos tribe was different. He should be in existence like the 9 Wine Lord. Even if Lin Xian possessed the corpse of a Quasi-Emperor, he would not be able to completely contend against it. However, if the other party wanted to kill him, it would not be so easy. After all, Lin Xian also had many trump cards. Lin Xian returned to the Starfall Immortal platform. Upon seeing Lin Xian's return, the hall masters and elders all heaved a sigh of relief. Murong Qingqing and the others also walked over and said, "Brother Xian, It's great that you're fine. Because this was a young giant who cultivated a forbidden martial art, the heaven-devouring demonic art. Why was he looking for him? They didn't dare to be careless and invited him in. The hall master of the immortal platform also walked out. The hall master frowned. I wonder why young master Yaoguang is looking for me. Yaoguang smiled indifferently. I know you guys are afraid of my cultivation technique. Don't worry, I'm not here to devour you guys today. I'm here to ask you guys something. Don't you guys want your ancestor's corpse back? Ancestor's corpse? What did he mean? The Origin Magnetic Palace master frowned. Yaoguang said. It was very simple. The Origin Magnetic Quasi-Emperor, who appeared, was already dead. His corpse was controlled by someone else. What? The Origin Magnetic Palace master was shocked. The other elders exclaimed. In the next moment, their eyes narrowed. You're saying that Lin Wudi is controlling our old ancestor's corpse? That's right. Yaoguang nodded. Damn it. The people around started shouting. I was wondering why their voices were so familiar. That's right. Why would our old ancestor help an outsider? Everything made sense now. That's your old ancestor. Would you allow him to be in the hands of an outsider? Moreover, how valuable is a quasi-emperor's corpse? I think you guys should understand. Hearing Yaoguang's words, those people clenched their fists. However, some elders sighed. So what? Since he can already control the quasi-emperor's corpse, we can't do anything about it. Unless he fully recovered his extreme Dao weapon. However, Lin Wudi also has an extreme Dao weapon in his hands. Yaoguang smiled. It doesn't matter. A quasi-emperor's body isn't that easy to control. I estimate that he can only control it once. He won't be able to control it a second time in a short period of time. Therefore, he's at his weakest now. Chapter 5303. The eyes of the people on the Origin Magnetic Immortal Platform flickered. This might be an opportunity. Why are you helping us? The Origin Magnetic Palace Master asked. Yaoguang smiled. Lin Wudi is my enemy. If he dies, I will have one less enemy. As soon as he said this, everyone believed him. However, there was another reason that Yaoguang did not mention. He had the soul of a quasi-emperor in his body and needed a body. If he could obtain the body of a quasi-emperor, he would become a new kind of quasi-emperor after fusing with his soul. That was an extremely terrifying existence. After walking out of the Origin Magnetic Immortal Platform, Yaoguang's face darkened. You won't kill me after you get it, right? Why would I? You are thinking too much. 9 Firmament Quasi-Emperor's remnant soul said. I'm not sure if I can fuse with that body. Even if I do, I only have a 30% chance of success. If I don't succeed, I will find another body. Actually, I can give you this quasi-emperor's body. If you swallow it, your strength will increase greatly. What I want more is Lin Wudi's body. 9 Firmament Quasi-Emperor's eyes flashed with a sharp light. Although the quasi-emperor's body was powerful, it was still a quasi-emperor. It would definitely reject his soul. Lin Xian was a young supreme being, and his cultivation level wasn't that terrifying. If he could grow again, that was what he wanted the most. Where should we go next? Yaoguang asked. 9 Firmament Quasi-Emperor thought for a moment and said, Let's go to the Purple Mansion. We will need their help. Didn't you look down on the Purple Mansion? Yaoguang frowned. 9 Firmament Quasi-Emperor said. That was then and this is now. I am no longer in my peak state. Moreover, the Purple Mansion is not that weak. Let me tell you a secret. There is a Triple Crown King sleeping in the Purple Mansion. Yaoguang's eyes narrowed when she heard this. The Double Crown King was already able to fight against the Divine Ancestor. How terrifying would the Triple Crown King be? Furthermore, she did not know about this news before. 9 Firmament Quasi-Emperor said. The Triple Crown King was not from this era. He had been sleeping for many years. Alright, let's go to the Purple Mansion. Yaoguang's side moved quickly. On the other side, the people on the Origin Magnetic Immortal Platform also moved. They headed towards the Nebula Immortal Platform, seeking an audience with Lin Xian. As for the excuse, it was very simple. They wanted to ask about the Magnetism Quasi-Emperor. After all, He was the old ancestor of the other party. Thus, the Nebula Immortal platform couldn't reject him. After they asked Lin Xian, they let the Origin Magnetism Hall Master and the others in. Lin Xian sat there and looked at the people from Origin Magnetic Immortal Palace with a smile on his face. In his opinion, these people should not dare to be presumptuous. The Elemental Magnet Palace Master said, "Young Master Lin, where is our old ancestor? Please hand it over." Lin Xian frowned. "What do you mean? Our objective this time is very simple. We just want to take away the old ancestor's corpse." "A corpse?" Lin Yuan's face darkened as he asked coldly, "Who told you that?" "Young Master Lin didn't need to know about this. We already know the truth, so please hand over the corpse of our ancestor. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude." Lin Xian sneered. "Why aren't you being polite? For the old ancestor, we are willing to sacrifice everything." The atmosphere became tense in an instant. The people from the Nebula Immortal platform were also shocked. They didn't expect the Origin Magnetic Immortal platform to be so daring. One had to know that Lin Xian had just killed a Hall Master and more than 10 Holy Lords. Who gave them the courage? The Elemental Magnet Palace Master said, "Young Master Lin, you don't have to threaten us. The corpse of a quasi-emperor isn't so easy to use. How many times can you use it? Young Master, think about it carefully. Why do you need another enemy?" The Elemental Magnet Palace Master sneered and turned to leave. He wasn't in a hurry. He knew that the corpse of the quasi-emperor would be his sooner or later. Looking at the Elemental Magnet Palace Master's back view, Lin Xian's face turned cold. Yan Ruyu walked over and said, "The situation doesn't look good." Lin Xian frowned and asked, "Where's Qingcheng?" Yan Ruyu said, "She's accompanying Qiu Er." Lin Xian nodded. "It seems like someone discovered my secret." On the other side, Heishan also walked over. "I can feel a few powerful auras descending." It was obvious that these people weren't willing to give up. They were mobilizing forces from outside. "Are there many people?" Lin Xian asked. Heishan said, "With our heavenly court's current strength, even if more holy lords come, we can still contend against them. However, if the quasi-emperor of the primal chaos race comes, I'm afraid we won't be able to do anything. Moreover, if the quasi-emperor makes a move, things will be different. Not only does he want to kill you, but he also wants the corpse of the quasi-emperor and the longevity lamp." Lin Xian's expression turned grave after hearing this. He had many enemies, including the monarch race, the clan of the ancients, and now he had provoked a quasi-emperor. If these people gathered together, it would be a terrifying force. Moreover, although he had the great dragon sword soul and an extreme weapon, they could also gather together. However, the other party could also condense it, so he had to find a new power. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian sent a message to Wine Lord. Perhaps this time he had to ask him to come out. Next, the entire Yuhua ancient city became extremely tense. Countless figures descended from the sky. There were experts from the dragons that covered the sky. There were experts from the fate race that gathered together to form good and evil statues. There were also experts from the primal chaos race that seemed to be creating a new world. The experts from the purple mansion race and the golden crow race came one after another. They gathered in the ancient city. More importantly, these people joined forces and headed toward the Nebula Immortal platform. At this moment, the Nebula Immortal platform shook violently. Countless cracks appeared in the sky. The faces of the people below became extremely ugly. Those elders hurriedly activated the array. It was a peerless array to protect them. However, they still felt the pressure as if thousands of mountains were pressing down on their heads. It caused their souls to sway. Yan Ruyu, Morong Qingcheng, and the others were nervous. Heishan's expression was also very grave. He said that he also felt the pressure. This pressure didn't come from the other sacred lords. He didn't say anything else. However, Lin Xian's expression was grave. It came from the sacred lords. Only a quasi-emperor could give Heishan pressure. It seemed that the quasi-emperor of the primal chaos race was here. Everyone in the ancient city was shocked when they felt this aura. It was the aura of another quasi-emperor. Heavens, Lin Wudi is really dead this time. However, people like the 10,000 Dragons Court and the Twins of Destiny were happy. With a quasi-emperor standing behind them, they would definitely be safe. The dark clouds in the sky pressed down on the city. Even the peerless array of the immortal platform was shattered. The palaces and pavilions below were shattered. Those elders vomited blood and retreated. Lin Xian was also facing a great enemy. His face was pale. However, his figure was as straight as a divine sword. He looked up at the sky and said coldly, "A few days ago, you were beaten by me like stray dogs. Now even if you join forces, you won't be my match." "Don't you just want the quasi-emperor corpse and the longevity lamp?" He made it sound so dignified. "Young man, there are some things that cannot be said. Otherwise, you might not even know how you died." The quasi-emperor's voice contained a trace of cold killing intent. The void around Lin Xian crumbled and cracked. Even Lin Xian felt an endless impact. Many of the surrounding black vortexes had collapsed and cracks had appeared. Lin Xian's expression was extremely ugly. He gritted his teeth. He was thinking, should he display the physique of a quasi-emperor, or take out the great dragon sword to fight? However, at this moment, a voice also came from the sky. Why is a quasi-emperor so shameless? He doesn't even care about his face. As soon as the voice came out, a terrifying vortex appeared and swept across heaven and earth. Everyone was shocked and looked up at the sky. They saw a middle-aged man in a Taoist robe appear in the sky. The man's black hair fluttered in the wind, and he was wearing a Taoist robe. He was holding a wine gourd in his hand. He was unusually handsome, just like Zhujiangxian. "It's him." Some people's pupils shrank when they saw him. Is this the quasi-emperor behind Lin Xian? They didn't expect him to come too. Two quasi-emperors appeared at the same time. This scene would be a fierce battle. Who would win and who would lose? Lin Xian also heaved a sigh of relief. He had sent a message to Wine Lord before, but he didn't expect him to come at the critical moment. Devouring sword. Zhujiangxian. The Chaos Quasi-Emperor also frowned. He didn't expect this quasi-emperor to be so extraordinary. He was the successor of the devouring sword of the 5 swords of the world. "Do you want to protect him?" The Chaos Quasi-Emperor said coldly. Wine Lord said, "Do you want to fight? Then you have to get through me first." As his voice fell, the black devouring sword light swept across heaven and earth as if it was going to devour everything. The Chaos Quasi-Emperor also gave off a terrifying chaotic aura. One was devouring all things, the other was creating heaven and earth. These two forces could be said to be polar opposites. They clashed in the sky and swept through everything. Everyone was shaken and retreated. They all hid behind the two quasi-emperors. The Chaos Tribe is not something you can imagine. If you want to protect him, you can. Let him hand over the quasi-emperor corpse and the longevity lamp, and hand over the heaven-devouring jar. In this way, I can spare his life and let him continue to live. The other people's expressions changed. Whether it was the quasi-emperor corpse, the longevity lamp, or the heaven-devouring jar, they were all supreme treasures. Now that the other party wanted all of them, how could Lin Xian agree to it? As expected, Lin Xian snorted. "Impossible, stop dreaming. You heard it. I gave him the opportunity, but he didn't cherish it. Then don't blame me." The Chaos Quasi-Emperor walked out. Wine Lord also frowned. "If you dare to attack him, I will kill all of your Chaos Tribe. Don't doubt my words. I mean what I say. Moreover, you, a Quasi-Emperor, actually want the treasures of a junior. Don't you feel ashamed? He obtained these things himself. This is his opportunity. You have no right to snatch it. Is that so?" The aura of the two quasi-emperors became more and more terrifying. The surrounding people couldn't bear it. Fortunately, the two quasi-emperors came to the 9 heavens. They were like two gods, confronting each other. Everyone could only feel the terrifying aura coming from the sky. Their scalps went numb. However, at this moment, the Purple Mansion Master sneered. She stared at Xinjingqiu. "Hand over your taboo martial arts. Otherwise, don't blame us for being rude." He attacked. Xinjingqiu snorted and attacked. The two sides fought. Xinjingqiu was suppressed. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty also stared at Lin Xian. You killed our prince. Today is the day you die. Wang. Wang. In an instant, these people attacked Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly as he swept his longsword across. As the Sword of Origin returned, a terrifying aura swept across the area. The other experts, the Destiny Tribe, the Golden Crow Tribe, and the Purple Mansion experts. In addition, the experts of the Magnetic Immortal Foundation all walked over. They wanted to attack together. This time, with the Chaos Quasi-Emperor, they didn't have any scruples. On the other side, Black Mountain walked over. He ordered the experts of the Heavenly Court. The Nebula Hallmaster also led the experts of the Nebula Immortal Foundation into the sky. Who dared to touch him? With a command, the 9 heavens and 10 earths shook. Is that so? Is the Nebula Immortal Foundation very impressive? Then what about my Gu clan? Gu Feng also brought people over. At this moment, the Gu clan was completely opposite Lin Xian. Chapter 5305. Apart from that, the Fire Qilin clan had also arrived. They had brought 10,000 flames with them. Countless people were shocked. It was another emperor clan. Heavens, how many enemies did Lin Wudi provoke? Lin Xian's expression was extremely ugly. Was Fire Qilin finally going to make a move? Damn the Qilin clan. Kuanpingzi retreated far away. The Kuanping clan would only be spectators, and would not participate in the battle. On the other side, Yi Wudao walked out and stood on Lin Xian's side. The experts of the Yi clan also walked out. At the same time, the experts of the Dao sect in Saint Origin City also arrived. The 4 old ancestors of the Dao sect descended from the sky. Even the divine generals of the Saint Origin Tower had arrived. They had all chosen to support Lin Xian. We're here too. The dark red divine dragon is here too. They brought countless dragons with them. The dragons in the universe were now divided into 2 factions. One faction supported the 1,000 Dragon Court, while the other faction supported the dark red divine dragon, Lin Xian, and the others. At this moment, the dark red divine dragon had brought the other half of their forces over. The people of the 1,000 Dragon Court had extremely ugly expressions. Damn it, we're the ancestors of the dragons. You should have betrayed the dragons. The dark red divine dragon sneered. Who made this rule? You're the true dragons? Hurry up and submit. The strength of both sides was getting stronger, and the atmosphere was getting more and more tense. The battle was about to erupt. At this moment, a devouring sword light slashed down from the sky and cut through the sky. It formed a black crack, blocking everyone's path. Who dared to attack him? Wine Lord's cold voice sounded. The sacred lords below felt their scalps go numb. They were definitely going to die if they were targeted by a Boundary Emperor. Now, they could only place their hopes on Boundary Emperor Hun Tian. However, the 2 Boundary Emperors were evenly matched. It would be difficult to determine the winner in a short time. Little guy, give me the heaven-devouring jar. At that moment Lord Alcohol spoke. Lin Xian threw out the heaven-devouring jar. After Wine Lord got it, he used the devouring sword and the heaven-devouring jar. In an instant, the sky turned completely dark. The terrifying vortex caused many people to cry out in alarm. Some people were instantly swallowed. Damn it. Are you courting death? The primal chaos quasi-emperor was thoroughly enraged. The 1,000 Dragon Court also spoke. Senior, take the extreme Dao weapon. They were also anxious as they took the 10,000 dragons diagram. The chaos quasi-emperor had borrowed the power of the 10,000 dragons diagram to resist the sky-swallowing jar. The 2 sides were once again in a stalemate. On the Gu family's side, Gu Feng held the void mirror in his hand, his eyes flashing with killing intent. However, Leaf Dao Denier had also brought the heaven and earth cauldron. Lin Xian took a deep breath when he saw that the other extreme weapons were about to awaken. He opened the sword world, and a corpse flew out. It was the magnetism quasi-emperor. Once this quasi-emperor's corpse appeared, another terrifying force swept out in all directions. The light of samsara appeared in Lin Xian's right eye. Controlling the corpse of the magnetism quasi-emperor, he punched out. It shook the heavens and earth. Many geniuses in front were instantly turned into a bloody mist. Damn it, how dare you! The primal chaos quasi-emperor's expression became incomparably ugly when he saw this scene. Lin Xian sneered. What do I not dare to do? If the wine lord can restrain you, you won't have a chance to deal with me. As for the remaining people, if I risk my life and use the quasi-emperor's corpse, let's see how many of you can leave alive. Lin Xian's words made everyone's hair stand on end. However, the Purple Mansion realm expert snorted coldly. How much soul power do you have? You can use it limitlessly. The quasi-emperor's corpse? What a joke. Lin Xian snorted coldly. My soul power is indeed not much. However, it's not a problem for me to kill a few sacred masters. Who would be willing to be the first to die? His Rinnegan swept in all directions. Everyone was terrified. Indeed, the other party could not kill everyone. However, the other party could definitely kill the first few people. Therefore, for a moment, no one was willing to make a move. Lin Xian laughed when he saw this scene. What alliance? What experts? A bunch of cowardly fools. Didn't you say that you want to kill me? I'm standing right here. Why? Don't you dare to make a move? The sacred ancestors' faces were also extremely pale. The chaos quasi-emperor in the sky descended from the sky. An intense light burst out from his eyes as he charged towards Lin Xian. However, it was time for both sides to confront each other once again. Stop it. You won't succeed today. Wine Lord shook his head and said. The chaos quasi-emperor's face became extremely ugly. Indeed, he felt a sense of danger. Now that the other party had an additional quasi-emperor's corpse, it was not easy to deal with him. However, he came with supreme power. If he retreated just like this, it would be a slap in the face. Where would he put his face in the future? Therefore, he would not leave easily. Lin Xian walked out, and said as he looked ahead. Hun Tian, this matter started because of me. Now, are you going to end it in our hands? Let's have a one-on-one fight. Do you dare? Hun Tian's face also turned cold. He did not say a word. Lin Xian sneered. Why? Don't you dare? Forget it if you don't dare. I originally thought that you were a man, but now it seems that you are just SOSO. From now on, you are not worthy of being my opponent. What did you say? Hun Tian gritted his teeth and roared. How dare you look down on me? Lin Xian sneered. Why? Am I wrong? You don't even have the courage to fight with me. After saying that, he looked at the Chaos Quasi-Emperor and sneered. I finally know why you are so eager to kill me. It's because your Chaos tribe has no successor. You don't have anyone who can fight. Young man, don't be too arrogant. The geniuses of our Chaos tribe are beyond your imagination. Is that so? Then let him come out and fight. Now, everyone in the world is watching. Wine Lord also said. If you don't dare to admit it directly, we can spare your life. After seeing this, the others also started to discuss. Someone from the Starfall Immortal platform said. Hun Tian wouldn't be afraid, right? I think it's possible. I heard that he lost to Lin Wudi before. They are both double champions. It seems that there is a gap between them. In the future, Lin Wudi will be the world. Hearing these words, Hun Tian's face turned extremely ugly. He turned to look at Hun Tian and said, Tian, do it. I believe in you. Hun Tian's face turned ugly. He gritted his teeth and said, Old ancestor, it's not that I don't want to do it, but that kid has too many trump cards. He has a boundary emperor corpse and an extreme weapon. If he uses this kind of power, I won't be able to block it. You don't have to worry about this. The two of us will set up a space where the boundary emperor corpses are not allowed to be used. We are also not allowed to use extreme weapons like the heaven swallowing jar. We will rely on our own strength. You don't have to worry anymore. Hun Tian gritted his teeth. He originally wanted to find some excuses, but now it seemed that he had no way out. He could only fight. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath. Chapter 5306. Hun Tian walked out. At this point, he had no choice but to fight. The law of primal chaos on his body condensed into a battle suit, making him look extraordinarily mighty. He walked over step by step with a vast power, shocking the surrounding people. Although Hun Tian had lost this time, his opponent was still the double champion. He was still an extremely terrifying existence. The others retreated one after another. They took a deep breath, wondering who would win this battle. I think Lin Wuti is stronger, someone said. After all, he had defeated Hun Tian last time. Some people shook their heads. That might not be the case. You all know that Lin Wuti has an extreme weapon. Last time, he might have defeated Hun Tian with an extreme weapon. However, this time he was not allowed to use weapons. He had to rely on his own strength. Lin Wuti might not be able to win. Lin Xian looked ahead with a calm gaze, and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. You still dare to come out and fight with me? At least you have some courage. You're not that useless. Come, let's settle our grudges with this battle. Hun Tian shouted coldly. I was careless the last time. This time, I won't lose to you again. As he spoke, he slapped out with his palm. The chaos palm illuminated the sky and swept forward. A terrifying killing intent surged out. Heaven and earth kept shattering. What a terrifying power. Is this the power of the double champion? At this moment, even the sacred leaders were moved. Such a person was already qualified to compete with them. Lin Xian also shouted coldly. Terrifying flames appeared on his body. The nine-yang divine body released a terrifying radiance. He seemed to have transformed into a god of war. He threw out a punch with the power to split the sky. At the same time, he slashed out with his left hand. With a vast light, it turned into a giant dragon that descended from the sky. The two collided and shook incomparably. The chaos palm shattered. Hun Tian was furious. He formed a seal with his palm. The chaos seal. The seal had the power to overturn heaven and earth. The momentum of this attack was so great that it shook everyone's hearts. Lin Xian waved his sword. Terrifying sword chi surged out and swept across heaven and earth. The two collided and shook incomparably. Hun Tian was suppressed. You can't do it. Lin Xian said coldly. In the sky, the Chaos Quasi-Emperor's face was extremely cold. Damn it. Is this Lin Wuti more terrifying than our double champion? He said coldly. Tian, show me your true strength. Yes, ancestor, I understand. Hun Tian was also brimming with killing intent. He waved his hands and a terrifying chaos pagoda appeared, shaking the 9 heavens. The primal chaos treasure pagoda opened heaven and earth, suppressing the sword chi. That place. God of God's ability. Why do I feel a sense of fear? He could even suppress Lin Wuti's sword chi. It was unbelievable. Lin Xian's sword chi was suppressed, but he was not afraid. A mysterious rune appeared in his eyes. After opening the rinnegan, the terrifying blade of reincarnation slashed forward. With a pu-chi sound, Hun Tian cried out miserably. His soul was injured again, and blood dyed the skies red. Countless people exclaimed. Even the Chaos Quasi-Emperor's pupils constricted. His face was incomparably cold. He stared ahead with murderous intent. He gritted his teeth. He didn't expect Lin Xian to have such magical eyes. Lin Xian looked ahead and said coldly, if that's all you have, then you've lost this battle. His voice spread in all directions, shocking everyone. Damn it! Kid, you've underestimated me. Hun Tian roared angrily. A terrifying chaotic rune formed between his eyebrows. It was in the shape of a giant axe. It directly protected his soul. In the next moment, he roared angrily. Endless power erupted from his body. He charged over. He wanted to fight Lin Xian in close combat. Lin Xian fought against him. With a clang, the two shook and released a terrifying aura. One of them had the chaotic body, while the other had the nine-yang divine body. Now that they attacked together, it was really shocking. However, Lin Xian's divine body was suppressed. Did you see that? My soul has surpassed your nine-yang divine body. I won't lose this battle. Hun Tian regained his confidence. Surpassed my physique. Lin Xian sneered. Is that so? His fist split open the sky. With a punch, it shook in all directions. The two fought again. Gradually he was no longer suppressed. The flames that filled the sky were terrifying. Everyone was shocked. Even the Chaos Quasi-Emperor's expression changed. Impossible. The 9 yang divine bodies ranking in the starry sky was definitely not comparable to the chaotic body. How could he be a draw? Damn it, why do I feel such a shocking power in his flames? What kind of flames did it fuse with? Lin Xian's 9 yang divine body had indeed fused with the purple sun divine fire, so its power had become extremely terrifying. Now it could compete with the chaotic body, which was ranked higher than him. At this moment, Lin Xian's eyes appeared again. It was the terrifying light of reincarnation. With infinite power, he charged forward. Not good. Everyone was terrified. Last time, it was because of this pair of eyes that Han Tian was injured. Could he resist this time? With a clang, an earth-shaking sound came from Han Tian's body. If the giant axe between his eyebrows blocked this attack, Han Tian would have been defeated. Han Tian retreated, his face pale. However, he laughed. Haha. Kid, did you see that? Do you think I don't have a way to restrain you? You don't understand our reincarnation bodies at all. Next, I will let you feel despair. He shouted angrily and roared at the sky. His reincarnation body erupted with an incomparable brilliance. At the same time, a giant axe phantom appeared behind him. This phantom axe soared into the sky from his bloodline, carrying monstrous bloodline runes. Heavens, what is this? Han Tian actually has such power? He actually blocked the Rinnegan eyes. Cries of surprise rang out one after another. The people of the Thousand Dragon Dynasty were shocked. This should be the super bloodline of the chaotic race. The corners of Zifu's mouth also curled up. Rumor had it that the chaotic race used a divine axe to create heaven and earth. It indeed existed in their bloodline. Han Tian summoned the bloodline divine axe. Then he held it with both hands and slashed forward. An unparalleled divine power swept out in all directions. At this moment it was earth-shattering, and the surroundings kept shattering. The spectators were all shocked. Even the Sacred Lord's pupils constricted. They would probably have to retreat from this attack. What is this? Is he going to create heaven and earth? At this moment, Han Tian was too powerful. He was like a supreme god that people could only look up to. The pupils of the heavenly court's people constricted. The expressions of Morong Qingqing and the others changed drastically. They didn't expect Han Tian to have such strength. One had to know that when he was fighting against Lin Xian, Han Tian didn't use this bloodline at all. The other party was hiding his strength. Lin Xian's expression was incomparably cold. He used the demon summoning scripture. A pitch-black demonic shadow also appeared behind him. As soon as the demonic shadow appeared, it also had a trace of Emperor's might that swept in all directions. Everyone felt their hair stand on end again. They looked at Lin Xian with horror. Chapter 5307. At this moment, even the people of the Hundun tribe were stunned. However, the pupils of the Hundun quasi-emperor also shrank. No, this is not the power of the bloodline, this is the power of the earth. He has cultivated the ancient scriptures of the great emperor. An extremely terrifying divine light burst out from his eyes as he stared straight ahead. He wanted to see through the demonic shadow. However, the demonic shadow turned its head slightly and forgot to come over. With a boom, the Hundun quasi-emperor felt a piercing pain in his eyes. What is going on? The demonic shadow was able to counterattack. It was too strange. What other secrets does Lin Xian have? However, he soon snorted. No matter what secrets he had, everything would be over after this battle. He was very confident in his family's bloodline, the divine axe. The bloodline divine axe in the sky slashed down. Lin Xian stood there, and the demonic shadow behind him formed seals with its palms, looking extremely ancient. It slowly raised its hand. At this moment, it was as if a demon god had been resurrected. The black demonic shadow covered the sky and charged forward. With a boom, the sky shattered and countless large cracks formed. Even Wine Lord was slightly surprised. He looked at the demonic shadow and frowned. However, he did not say anything. Boom. The bloodline divine axe and the demon god's shadow collided. With a boom, the sky and earth were pierced through. At this moment, everyone felt a shocking power sweeping out in all directions. Oh no, they have gone crazy. No one would be able to survive under this power. However, at this moment, The two quasi-emperors took action to stop this force. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Are they really two young people? At this moment, even the sacred lords felt their hair stand on end. Who won and who lost? Everyone was paying close attention to this. Even the two quasi-emperors looked over with rapt attention. In the next moment, the Hundun quasi-emperor frowned while Wine Lord smiled. Soon, everyone also noticed that the bloodline divine axe in the sky was in a stalemate with the demon god's shadow. The two were evenly matched. Everyone was in an uproar. But the experts of the Hundun tribe exclaimed, "This is impossible. How can our bloodline divine axe not be able to defeat him?" They were all crazy. One had to know that the primal chaos tribe had created the world. According to the legends, the ancestor had used a godly axe to split the entire universe into two. Later on, their bloodline possessed the power of the godly axe. Now that they had the strongest bloodline, the other party would not die for sure. But the result was unexpected. That demonic shadow actually blocked it. It was unbelievable. Your bloodline power is indeed very strong, but that's it. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a terrifying light as he attacked again. Demonic God Seal. One of the palms was incomparably vast. It transformed into the fury of the thunder god and charged forward. With a loud boom, the sky shook from the impact. One of his arms was broken. On the other hand, Lin Xian attacked again. His sword chi was like thunder, connecting into one. Every strike was incomparably terrifying, causing Hun Tian to vomit blood and be sent flying. His body was covered with sword scars. Lin Xian charged forward. Not good. Hun Tian's aura was declining. Some people frowned when they saw this. The faces of the Thousand Dragon Dynasty and the Golden Crow tribe turned ugly. In a battle between experts, confidence was very important. Now Hun Tian's confidence seemed to have been shattered. He was suppressed by Lin Wudi. Indeed, Hun Tian kept vomiting blood and was injured. The people of the Primal Chaos tribe exclaimed, "Your Highness, quickly counterattack." Even Hun Dun's expression had become extremely ugly. However, the others were shocked. This Lin Wudi was really too strong. Could it be that he was going to win this battle? Lin Xian snorted. A yin-yang image appeared in his hand. It transformed into a yin-yang sword and charged forward. The yin-yang sword was incomparably terrifying. It swept through everything. Even the sacred leader felt that his life was in danger. At this critical moment, Hun Tian roared. He waved his hands and the bloodline battle axe appeared again. He sent the yin-yang sword flying. In the next moment, he roared into the sky and merged. The bloodline battle axe merged with his body. In the next moment, Hun Tian changed. All the bones in his body emitted crackling sounds, and his entire body turned into a giant axe. He stood in the void. "Kid, this is my strongest attack. Now you can see it. You can die with pride." A cold voice came from the giant axe. Everyone's hair stood on end. What happened? Hun Tian turned into a weapon. This was too unbelievable. Even Wine Lord frowned. He realized the power of the giant axe. It was much stronger than the bloodline battle axe that he had summoned previously. It was much stronger. The Primal Chaos Boundary Emperor laughed. Our Primal Chaos tribe's bloodline is extraordinary. However, the most powerful thing is the chaotic body. This was the biggest secret of the chaotic body. He could unleash the full potential of his bloodline. The power of the divine axe was reproduced. That's right. The chaotic body had the biggest secret. He had turned into a divine axe that could split heaven and earth. This power had surpassed the demonic god's shadow. Everyone was shocked. Lin Wudi was in danger. He couldn't resist it. Unless he used the heaven-devouring jar. However, this battle didn't allow the use of weapons. Could Lin Wudi merge with the demonic god's shadow? If it could, its power would increase exponentially as well. Everyone was looking forward to it. Even the people on the Nebula Divine platform were looking forward to it. However, Lin Xian frowned. He could only summon the demonic god's shadow. Chapter 5308. In the face of this axe, everyone felt their hair stand on end. Lin Wudi couldn't block it at all. Was he going to die? This was a young supreme being, someone who had the potential to become a great emperor. But now he had fallen. In the face of such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian roared. He didn't use the demon summoning scripture. Instead, he used the Rinnegan with all his strength. The Rinnegan I kept spinning as if it was drawing the 6 paths of reincarnation. At the same time, endless runes flew out and formed a terrifying 6 paths world. The world shook, and the sky was about to shatter. Everyone was stunned when they saw this. Lin Wuyi didn't merge with the demon god's shadow. Instead, he used his eye technique. It was useless. The Chaos Quasi-Emperor sneered. After using his strongest physique and turning into the Chaos Divine Axe, all soul attacks couldn't hurt him. However, Wine Lord was looking forward to it. Could it be that this little guy was going to use that thing? But with only one eye, it was too much. He was also worried for Lin Xian. Lin Xian's Rinnegan was getting more and more mysterious. The Rinnegan runes on it kept spinning. Then a ray of light flew out. As soon as this ray of light appeared, the world shattered. Even the divine axe in the Sky Palace stopped. It kept shaking. What was this? Hun Tian's face changed. Damn it, he didn't expect Lin Xian to be able to threaten him. He attacked with all his strength. However, it was too late. Lin Xian's Rinnegan had completely erupted. The Rinnegan light condensed between heaven and earth, and then turned into an illusion. It was as if it had crossed the ancient time and space, causing the whole world to collapse. The surrounding people were also sent flying. Their faces were full of shock. It was a sword. Finally, a divine ancestor exclaimed. Lin Wuyi used a sword. What kind of sword was it? They were extremely shocked. The sword seemed to be formed by 6 connected worlds. It was incomparably terrifying. Everyone felt that their souls were about to be reincarnated. The Purple Mansion Lord's face was pale. She said in horror. Could it be the reincarnation sword? His voice was trembling. When the others heard this, they were even more stunned. What? Samsara sword. The reincarnation sword of the 5 swords of the world? It wasn't broken long ago. 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's elder exclaimed. That was impossible. The experts of the Kuan-Peng race gasped. One of Lin Wuyi's eyes was the Rinnegan. Legend has it that the Rinnegan and the Samsara sword have a mysterious connection. Rinnegan can summon the Samsara sword. Kuan-Peng Zi was shocked. The other party had actually summoned the Samsara sword. The Fire Qilin's pupils also shrank. This Lin Wuyi originally possessed the Great Dragon Sword soul, and his combat strength far surpassed others. Could he summon the Samsara sword now? 2 of the 5 swords of the world were related to him. Chapter 5309. At this moment, Lin Xian was like a peerless sword god. He swept in all directions and merged with the Great Dragon Sword soul. Man and sword as one. Lin Xian looked forward and said, "Let me tell you what the strongest attack is." Lin Xian's sonorous voice spread all around. The surrounding people also exclaimed in surprise. The strongest attack? How dare he say that? However, they did feel the invincible power in Lin Xian's body. Kill! Hun Tian roared angrily. The chaotic aura on his body bloomed and turned into the chaotic divine axe. He slashed down again. His aura was stronger than before. He was already burning his bloodline. Lin Xian snorted. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into a giant dragon. He also attacked aggressively. Man and sword as one. The sword swept across, destroying heaven and earth. The two collided, and the vast divine power spread in all directions. The surrounding people were shocked and vomited blood. Oh heavens, he blocked it. He really blocked it. Lin Wuyi still had such power. This should be the legendary Great Dragon Sword. Although it was only a sword soul, it was still terrifying. Lin Xian was too unusual. He summoned the Reincarnation Sword and had the Great Dragon Sword soul. These were 2 of the 5 swords in the world. Moreover, the Great Dragon Sword was an unparalleled saint art. It was absolutely terrifying. The 2 sides fought fiercely. Hun Tian felt the sharp aura and his scalp went numb. He roared angrily. This was his last chance. He would never allow himself to be defeated again. The divine axe swept through everything in its path. Lin Xian snorted. He turned into a dragon-shaped sword intent and swept across all directions. He slashed out with the sword, and a terrifying aura bloomed on it. What kind of sword technique was this? It must be a Thearka's divine ability. Countless people exclaimed because they found this sword too strange. Like a ghost, he suddenly appeared behind Hun Tian. It was aimed at Hun Tian's vital parts. After Lin Xian became one with the sword, he performed the Azura sword technique. He slashed out with the sword. It was a sure-kill divine skill. Hun Tian felt the danger, and the divine axe pointed at the back of the exhibition area. It set off monstrous laws. With a boom, he was sent flying and vomited a large mouthful of blood. Lin Xian laughed coldly. You're no match for me in terms of attack power. The more Lin Xian fought, the braver he became. His great dragon sword soul had reached perfection. The surrounding people were all stunned, because they realized that Lin Xian was really too strong. Damn it, how could it be like this? On the other hand, the faces of the Hun Dun tribe turned extremely ugly. Was Hun Tian going to lose again? They couldn't bear it. The primal chaos quasi-emperor's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He could not help but want to attack. However, Master Jiao, who was at the side, stared at him fixedly. He had no chance at all. Great, Brother Xian has the upper hand. A beautiful smile appeared on Murong Qingchen's face. This smile stunned the surrounding people. Lin Xian let out a dragon roar, and the illusion of 10,000 dragons appeared around him. The people from the dragon clan were also shocked. Damn it, there's something wrong with this kid's bloodline. Why do I feel such a terrifying dragon aura? They were shocked. How could they know that Lin Xian had fused with the bloodline of 10,000 dragons, and had long possessed the great dragon sword soul? Therefore, the dragon aura on his body was incomparable. At this moment, Lin Xian's entire body was emitting a monstrous light. He seemed to have turned into a peerless divine sword. He slashed out with the Azura sword art. This sword was so powerful that the sword light in front of everyone's eyes disappeared. Only killing intent filled the sky. The divine axe split open the sky. On the other side, Hun Tian also let out an angry roar. He also used his strongest power. Heaven and earth shook. A terrifying light enveloped the 9 heavens and 10 earths. At this moment, even the sky split open. Was he going to go all out? Everyone was shocked. They knew that the winner would be decided soon. In the next moment, a bolt of divine thunder rang out. Everyone's blood surged, and they couldn't stand steadily. They saw the two collide. The light in front of them was like 10 suns that were about to split open. Everyone couldn't see clearly at all. They could only feel the terrifying aura. In the next moment, a miserable scream sounded in front of them. Everyone's scalps went numb. Who was it? Someone must have been injured. Was it Hun Tian or Lin Wudi? They couldn't be sure at all. The two quasi-emperors' eyes were also bursting with light as they looked in front of them. Damn it! Suddenly, the Chaos Quasi-Emperor let out a roar and a pair of chaos hands grabbed in front of him. He wanted to tear that storm apart. At this moment, a chaos vortex appeared and blocked the heavenly hand. Wine Lord said coldly, "How dare you launch a sneak attack in a battle between young people? Do you think I don't exist? Damn it, how dare you stop me? Get lost." The Chaos Quasi-Emperor let out an angry roar, and threw out a Chaos Divine Fist. However, the black vortex was extremely terrifying. It swallowed the sky and earth and blocked the attack. Wine Lord's sword Qi soared into the sky. His face darkened and he said coldly, "If you want to fight, I'll keep you company." The surrounding people went crazy. Why was the Chaos Quasi-Emperor so angry? Could it be? They looked at the battlefield in front of them, and had a thought in their minds. Could it be that the one who screamed was Hun Tian? Only such a situation could make a quasi-emperor so angry. Heavens, Hun Tian was injured. Moreover, such an attack must have seriously injured him. Could it be that he was going to be defeated? Impossible. Chapter 53:10. One stained the sky with blood while the other was as mighty as the sword god. The outcome of the battle had already been decided. Hun Tian gritted his teeth. His eyes were bloodshot as he stared ahead. The Great Dragon Sword Soul. Damn it, is this the legendary offensive sacred technique? Damn it, the power that Lin Xian could unleash was too strong. He was unwilling to accept the fact that Lin Xian had surpassed his divine axe. Damn it, he was filled with regret at the thought of this. If he had not sent his avatar here in the beginning, he would have killed Lin Xian the moment he met him. Lin Xian would not have had the chance to grow to such a level. It was all because of his carelessness. However, there was no medicine for regret in this world. His arrogance had given Lin Xian a chance to grow. Hence he could only lose now. However, he was unwilling to accept the outcome. Ah! He roared into the sky as his black hair danced wildly. I am unwilling to accept this. Lin Xian snorted coldly. So what if he was unwilling to accept the outcome? Who in this world would be willing to accept defeat? However, only the strong could go on forever. Since Lin Xian had lost, he could go to hell. He slashed forward again. The terrifying sword chi swept across the land, and everyone felt their scalps go numb. The experts of the Hundun clan narrowed their eyes. Damn it, Lin Wudi. How dare you attack? On the other hand, Lin Xian's expression was extremely cold. Victory and defeat had been decided in this battle. Lin Xian became one with the sword and unleashed a monstrous power. He slashed out with his sword and sent Hun Tian flying. Hun Tian's body was sent flying. He was already severely injured and there was no way he could withstand the attack. His broken body could not merge completely because of the invincible power. Sacred blood kept dripping from his body. Ah! Hun Tian let out a miserable shriek as his soul became dim and lifeless. He could die at any time. Damn it, how dare you! The Hundun tribe experts roared crazily. Ancestor! They looked at the Hundun Quasi-Emperor. The Hundun Quasi-Emperor also snorted coldly. Go to hell, Ant! He pointed at Lin Xian, trying to kill him. At this moment, Lord Alcohol also made his move. You've tried to assassinate me again and again. Are you looking down on me? That's fine too. Let's decide the victor today. Wine Lord's devouring whirlpool engulfed the Chaos Emperor. The two Quasi-Emperors instantly charged toward the 9 heavens. Without the threat of the Quasi-Emperor, Lin Xian quickly charged towards Hun Tian. No. How dare you? The Holy Master of the Hundun tribe roared in a frenzy. A terrifying chaos treasure pagoda suppressed the heavens and earth. However, Lin Xian executed Shadowless Heaven's net, and was fast to the extreme. At this moment he had turned into a dragon sword and swept in all directions. That power was really too strong. Even the divine ancestor coughed up blood, and was sent flying. However, there were too many sacred sovereigns around. The Purple Mansion Master and the Golden Crow tribe's sacred leader both attacked. However, Lin Xian also had quite a few holy lords on his side. The old ancestors of the Tao, the experts of the Heavenly Court, and the experts of the Nebula Immortal Foundation all made their moves. The scene was extremely terrifying. Buzz. At this moment, the void shattered and 3 battle swords charged over, directly attacking Lin Xian's back. This was a spatial ability. This attack was too sudden. It came and went like a ghost, making it impossible to guard against. Lin Xian felt the battle swords coming from behind him. He suddenly turned around and waved the dragon sword. It directly tore the 3 battle swords into pieces. At the same time he charged into the void. The terrifying dragon-shaped sword flew into the void, and directly attacked the elder of the Gu family. Seeing this scene, the elder's pupils constricted and he wanted to escape. However, in the next moment, he was pierced through by the sword and was nailed to the void. Was this the power of the great dragon sword soul? It was indeed an offensive sacred art. He died in despair. The Fate tribe's divine ancestor formed a seal with his palms and transformed into a world of good and evil, continuously enveloping Lin Xian. Lin Xian's body shook, and he almost fell from the sky. The Fate tribe's divine ancestor smiled. Great! Watch me send you to hell forever. Half of the world instantly turned into a pitch-black hell, wanting to swallow Lin Xian. At that moment, Lin Xian let out a roar. The great dragon sword soul erupted again. At this moment, it turned into a 10,000-meter-long divine sword and directly split the hell. The Fate tribe's divine ancestor was also split in half. Roar! Lin Xian roared. He used the power of the sword world. The terrifying power of the world poured into the great dragon sword. The sharp aura of the great dragon's sword instantly skyrocketed. Slash. With a slash of the sword, the experts who wanted to get close were all sent flying. They were horrified. The power of this sword was stronger than before. This guy was going to fully recover. Great Dragon Sword Soul. Damn it. Hun Tian's face also became incomparably ugly. He threw out the Chaos Treasure Pagoda and Chaos Shield. Even the Chaos World tried to resist. However, it was useless. Under this sword, they were all shattered. No, I'm not willing. I don't want to die. He roared crazily, but he was completely enveloped by this sword. Boom. The dragon's roar resounded through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. At this moment, the experts of the dragons also felt a huge suppression. Everyone felt a peerless sword chi that slashed through their souls. Then, the world became quiet because they realized that Hun Tian's soul had disappeared. They turned their heads and saw a cloud of blood mist. 2 halves of a body fell from the sky. It was Hun Tian. He was dead. They couldn't sense his vitality anymore. One after another, the sacred lords cried out in alarm. No. Below, the experts of the Hundan tribe roared crazily. Their eyes were bleeding. They couldn't bear it. That was the Hundan physique, their future hope. But now he had actually been killed by someone. Kill him, kill Lin Wudi. Avenge his highness. The experts of the Hundan tribe rushed out crazily, and all kinds of sacred weapons flew out. The Hundan quasi-emperor in the 9 heavens also roared. He stretched out a foot and stomped down in the air. He was like a giant spiritual god. At this moment, the world was shattered. The surrounding sacred lords all vomited blood and were sent flying. It was too terrifying. Once a quasi-emperor was angry, no one could fight against him. However, Wine Lord was calm. He slashed out a black sword light and cut off the foot. It was engulfed. In the next moment, Wine Lord's voice was heard. Lin Xian, well done. You don't have to worry about the quasi-emperor's revenge. I'll help you hold this quasi-emperor back, so that he can't come out in a short time. As for the others, I believe you can fight them. With that, Wine Lord completely turned into a black divine sword and shrouded the Hundan quasi-emperor. In the next moment, the 2 of them broke through the void and disappeared. Damn it. The Hundan quasi-emperor roared in anger. However, he was swallowed by the black vortex and didn't appear. Ancestor. The experts of the Hundan tribe roared crazily. Did their ancestor disappear? Damn it. The people of the Purple Mansion were also gritting their teeth. It seemed that the 2 quasi-emperors wouldn't win in a short time. However, this was also a good opportunity. It meant that Lin Wudi didn't have a quasi-emperor behind him. This was a good opportunity to kill him. Hurry up and do it. With a roar, the Purple Mansion realm experts appeared one after another. The other experts also attacked. Chapter 53:11. The death of the Chaos Dual Crown King shocked countless people. The impact of the fall of such a young supreme being was too terrifying. However, something even more shocking happened. They decided to kill Lin Xian as well. Lin Xian's face was pale. The battle with Hun Tian had consumed a lot of his energy, and he was also injured. Coupled with the shocking sword strike at the end, his body was indeed weak. However, when he saw this scene, his expression turned gloomy and cold. You want to kill me? Do you have the ability? He waved his hand and directly shot out the heaven-devouring jar. Everyone, let's fight. The people of the heavenly court had long been experienced in dealing with the patriarchs of the Tao. When they saw this scene, they directly channeled their power into the heaven-devouring jar. The heaven-devouring jar erupted with light and shot out a ray of light. In an instant, hundreds of saints screamed and turned into a bloody mist. When the others saw this, their hair stood on end, and they quickly used their extreme weapons. They retreated frantically, and the 10,000 dragons picture appeared and swept across heaven and earth. Everyone provided their power to block the heaven-devouring jar. Then, an ancient void mirror appeared out of thin air, and the power of the void tore heaven and earth apart. Many people on Lin Xian's side vomited blood, and their bodies shattered and turned into a bloody mist. At this moment, the Yi family's heaven and earth cauldron appeared. Yi Wudao seemed to have transformed into a god. The immortal king phantom behind him held the heaven and earth cauldron and swept through the area. He fought against the void realm. As soon as these extreme weapons appeared, they froze heaven and earth. Everyone's hair stood on end as they frantically channeled their power. At this moment, Lin Xian took out the quasi-emperor's corpse. He said coldly, "Whoever wants to die, come out. I'll fulfill your wish." Seeing the quasi-emperor's corpse, everyone's hair stood on end. They knew that Lin Xian couldn't use his eye of reincarnation because he had summoned the reincarnation sword. However, who knew if he still had any trump cards? If he could use this quasi-emperor's corpse to sweep through all directions, then no one would be a match for him. Retreat. The people of the Golden Crow clan roared. The people of the Twin of Destiny clan also retreated. Gu Feng gritted his teeth, and the people of the Purple Mansion also had cold expressions. They also prepared to retreat. The people of the Primal Chaos clan roared. "No. Join hands and take him down." The leader of the Z government shook his head. Unless they had an absolute advantage, they wouldn't be able to win. But from the looks of it, we didn't. It wouldn't be easy to kill him. At this point, he looked at Lin Xian and said coldly, "Lin Wudi, you don't have to be so arrogant. Although you killed Hun Tian, you're just a double champion. Let me tell you a secret. Our Violet Palace has the Triple Crown King. Although he was sleeping now, it wouldn't take long for him to appear. The first thing he will do when he appears is to kill you. Enjoy your last moments." After saying that, the Purple Mansion's mansion master turned around and left with his people. The surrounding people were shocked. What? The Purple Mansion also had the existence of the Triple Crown King. It was too unbelievable. One had to know that both Lin Xian and Hun Tian were double champions. Both of them were already so terrifying. How terrifying was the Triple Crown Champion? The sacred races felt their scalps go numb. Did such a person really exist? Lin Xian and the others looked even more serious. Damn it. The people of the Primal Chaos clan roared crazily. Now that these experts had retreated, they didn't have any extreme weapons. They could only leave unwillingly. Lin Wudi, just you wait. We will definitely take revenge for His Highness. When our quasi-emperor ancestor returns, it will be the time of your death. Lin Xian sneered. Hun Tian deserved to die. You want a quasi-emperor to kill me? Stop dreaming. He trusted Wine Lord. Since the Wine Lord said that he could restrain the other party, he didn't need to worry. The enemies retreated. The Heavenly Court, Nebula Immortal Platform, and the others all heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Xian's face was pale and his body swayed. Morong Qingqing and the others hurried over to support Lin Xian. Quickly take Big Brother Xian away. They soared into the sky and left. News of this spread out, sweeping in all directions. Not only did the entire Yuhua ancient city know, it also spread out. The true spirit world, the buried Emperor Star, and the other worlds all knew. What? A double crown king had fallen? That was impossible. A double crown king was in existence even more terrifying than a prince. Moreover, this double crown king was even more extraordinary. That was the primal chaos physique of the primal chaos race. The primal chaos race was a race that created the world. Not to mention the primal chaos physique. The primal chaos physique was the strongest bloodline of the primal chaos race. How could such an expert with such a physique fall? Could it be that he was killed by an extreme weapon? No, it was Lin Wudi who killed him. What? Lin Wudi. That name was like thunder to everyone's ears. Previously, he had killed the Dragon Prince. Now he had killed the Double Crown King. Was he trying to defy the heavens? Following that, more details about the battle were revealed. 2 quasi-emperors attacked. Countless sacred lords attacked. For extreme weapons confronted each other. All of this was because of Lin Xian. Things happened one after another, leaving everyone dumbstruck. The myriad worlds in the heavens were in an uproar. On the other side, the primal chaos race was in an uproar when they heard about it. They all knelt down and cried. Their most promising genius had fallen just like that. They issued a kill order. The 9 heavens and 10 earths had to kill Lin Wudi. The Z Mansion, Thousand Dragon Chow, and the others were also solemn. Lin Xian's growth was really too fast. Who could suppress him in the future? When the Divine Union and the others heard about it, they cheered. That was great. Their leader, Lin Wudi, had taken another step forward. The other spectators were also in awe. This was a battle of the gods. This was definitely the most exciting battle in the past 10,000 years. Both of them had the talent of a great emperor. It was just that Lin Wudi was better. There was probably no one who could stop Lin Wudi's footsteps. Some people were shocked. In the future, he would most likely become a great emperor, or at least a quasi-emperor. There were also people who said that before the Z Mansion left, he had said something. The Z Mansion had the sleeping Triple Crown King. This was an even more terrifying existence. If this news was true, then Lin Wudi was still in danger. The Triple Crown King. Heavens, what kind of power was this? It was hard to imagine. Everyone was shocked. There were also people who said that other than Hun Tian, there were opponents. For example, Yao Guang, who cultivated the demonic heaven-devouring skill, was unfathomable. She was growing even faster. There was also the emperor of the Qilin race, the Fire Qilin, who was also a double crown king. He hit it very well. As for the other princes and princesses, if they had a heaven-defying opportunity, they would definitely be able to break through instantly. It was not that they did not have a chance. In an instant, everyone was talking about it. However, the most talked about was Lin Xian. After all, he had created one legend after another. Along the way, he had indeed made everyone look up to him. At this moment, Lin Xian had already entered the sword world, and was recovering with all his might. Although he had also been injured in this battle, his condition was much better than Hun Tian's. As long as he had enough power, he would be able to completely recover to his peak. At the same time, something else was discovered in the universe. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.